Cavs in the second quarter, taking a 41-point lead into halftime.
Into the forecourt, Neesmith. Turner is feeling it, and why not? Why not? Why not? A three from 2 miles away, out on the left side. This cannot possibly be happening.
Mark Boyle on the Elevance Health Radio Network. The Pacers beat the Cavs 129-109. They now lead the series 3-1 and will face the Cavs again with a chance to head to the Eastern Conference Finals. Next game Tuesday in Cleveland. With traffic on the 5s. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jared? Looking at northbound 65 slow, Raymond up to the south split. That is because of road construction. And we have lights not working right. That's over in Lawrence, East 56th Street at Lee Road. Please take turn street. That is a four-way stop. Traffic sponsored by Indiana Foundation Services. Water damaging your home? Contact Indiana Foundation Service, the basement concrete foundation experts. Get your free inspection today. Learn more, IndianaFoundationService.com. Licensed in all states where work is performed. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
Race into Pierce Jewelers in Carmel and make a pit stop to purchase that unique diamond engagement ring that will put you in the winner's circle. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
This hour on WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine custom jewelry.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies this morning, scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder this afternoon. Today's high 75. Rain diminishes late tonight. Partly cloudy and mild, a low of 61. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You want me to talk first?
Yeah, it's Monday. Go for it.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
I'm still in Mother's Day mode. You do something.
Yeah, you know, I hate it when you go somewhere. So you left the state over the weekend.
I did.
I know. Like, I've got this.
I was west of the Mississippi.
Well, it's this dread feeling in my stomach because I know that I'm going to have to do some work to contribute to the show when you're very busy. So in fairness, I did my part. I did send you 3 or 4 stories.
A story.
I said I think these will be very good for our program on Monday. I don't know what Trump is doing. I mean, at any moment now, what he's going to be having this big hey Rube there at the White House where he's going to be talking about this executive order with drugs, and we'll see the devil's in the details. My question is, so Trump came out. See, this is what I do. I sign up to do something. You ever do this where you volunteer to do something and in the moment, or like Kev has friends. Kev is single. Kev will understand this. Where your friends are like, hey, we should so-and-so or go blah, blah, blah. And
in the moment, it sounds great.
Yeah, a month out, you're like, that'd be awesome. And then the day comes around and you're like, did I really volunteer to do that?
Yeah, I got a couple trips like that.
See,
coming
thank
up.
you. Kevin understands. And so I volunteered. I said, well, I'll read this in the voice. And now I'm looking at this, and it's like, oh, there's no way.
It's really long.
I mean,
I was surprised that you said that.
Does he not? Well, I just saw the first part of it, and I thought, well, I'll try to help out because you're busy. And now...
This is my Mother's Day gift.
This is your Mother's Day gift. By the way, here, my strategy yesterday with Casey was I had a bunch of show things I wanted to talk to her about. But I thought, well, that'd be rude. So I said Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, you did.
And then I set a timer for like 2 hours. And I said, I'll let that sit so you'll think I just wished you Happy Mother's Day. You'll be in a good mood. And then after the 2-hour timer hit, then I said, then I can text her and she won't know. This was part of a plot to discuss the show with you.
Yeah.
So I agreed to do this. So Trump is signing some sort of executive order. It's going on right now, or scheduled to be going on right now. That's going to cut. He claims is going to reduce drug prices almost immediately 30 to 80%.
Yeah, he's saying the order aims to align U.S. drug prices with other countries using a most favored nation pricing. And, you know, it's interesting. I like it. There's some questions about it. And one of the reasons I like it, when you look at some of the most popular drugs that are used here in America, like, let's see, Jardians, for example.
Who?
Jardians.
What's
You've
that?
seen the commercial. The people are dancing in it. They're always wearing yellow. That helps with type 2 diabetes.
No, I've never seen it. And why are people always so happy in these commercials? You have some horrible affliction that is requiring this uber expensive medication, and these people have never looked happier than in these stupid commercials.
Well, the U.S. price is $570 a month on average, but in Japan, it's $30 a month. In Sweden, they get charged $60 a month. You've got Humira, which is one that I'm overly familiar with. I wish I wasn't so familiar with Humira. $6,000 a month in the United States, but in Sweden, they pay $800 a month. In Japan, $600 a month. So it could be quite the savings for the consumer. The questions being asked, though, will this hurt with research and development? But I think you got to realize that a significant portion of the profits for these drug makers, it goes to marketing and also lobbying and shareholder returns, not necessarily back to innovation.
Well, and look at, like, just here in central Indiana, Lilly claims to be building this $4.5 billion complex. They're not running a soup kitchen. They're a profit-centric company. We've talked about, just the other day, we talked about their stock price and their market share. The people who are investing in Eli Lilly aren't doing that out of the goodness of their heart. People who have the Lilly stock has gone up 406% in the past 5 years. The market cap has gone up something like $600 billion. The people who are doing that are not because, oh, Lilly's a great company. They're doing it because Lilly makes lots of money, and we want in on the money that Eli Lilly is making.
Not only that, but the elevated drug prices, they contribute to the rising insurance premiums and also the higher costs that the government programs like Medicaid and Medicare cost.
All right, I'm going to take a stab at this. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I don't think. And by the way, with Trump, can he not space? Can he not paragraph?
He's
like,
not doing
why?
this for your benefit.
Why would any rational person think that I'm gonna this? I mean, it's just a block of text, and it's,
there's some cap, some non-cap.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't you space this out, buddy? Like, just, you know, I don't know if he knows that if you hit on your cellular telephone, there's a little return button there. If you hit return twice, it'll space those paragraphs out.
Give you a paragraph?
It'll make it much easier for people to read.
Do you feel like you're not up to reading the entire text?
I'll give it a shot. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I mean, I'm not. All right, Kev. Okay, theoretically, we'll see how this goes. Kev, if I tell you, good news, he kept going. Will you know how to fire the thing back up again? Like,
yeah,
if we let the Whitney go, okay, very good.
We'll run it back. It's really long.
We have not done, okay, and one other thing, because we have new listeners all the time, but this is a long time part of this program. Did you know I once interviewed the president, Casey?
Yes, it was a great dream. He wished all interviews could be that way.
That's what he said. I didn't say that.
Right.
He said that.
It's true.
He said it was a great dream. I knew what was going on. He wished all interviews could be just like this. We just passed the 9-year anniversut, by the way, of my interview with President Trump.
Yeah, I saw that.
Little sad you didn't get me anything.
I'm supposed to celebrate an occasion like that? What would be the appropriate gift for that?
But just a thanks.
A little.
For all that I've done.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Thanks. There you go.
You're about, you're 6 days late, Casey. Anyway, 7 days late. Okay, so as a tribute to that, we play, when we read Trump thoughts on the internet, we read them in the voice that I picture is the voice in his head as he's feverishly typing them with his thumbs on his cellular telephone. And we play Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You in the background as a tribute to that. All right, ready? Here we go. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the United States of America were, in all caps, so much higher in price than they were in any other nation, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the exact same laboratory or plant by the same company.
Yes.
Did I do that pretty good?
That was excellent.
Triple question mark for dramatic effect. It was always difficult to explain and very embarrassing because, in fact, I love the in fact, there was no correct or rightful answer. The pharmaceutical/drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs. And then all of these costs were and would be, for no reason whatsoever, borne by the suckers of America alone. Campaign contributions can do wonders, but not with me. And not with the Republican Party. Okay, hang on. Hold on. He's trying to act as though the Republican Party, who has at multiple times over the past 20 years controlled all branches of government, could have done whatever they wanted to do, that they were not also bought off by the pharmaceutical company?
He's saying, not me, not anymore.
And by the way, Trumpski, if it was so cut and dry, why didn't you do it the first time you were president? This is the stuff that's maddening with him, as though the Republicans, who have, Bush, they had all branches of government. Trump, they had all branches of government. They've had the House, they've had the Senate. At no point did they move to do any of this, and he tries to tell you as though the Republicans are completely just as bought off as the Democrats are.
Yes, that's true.
Good news.
Yeah.
Kept going.
He keeps going.
We are going to do the right thing. Something that the Democrats have fought for many years. Therefore, I am pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m., I will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and for the first time in many years bring fairness to America. I will be instituting a most favored nations policy whereby the United States will pay the same price as the nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. All right, there's more. I can't.
You did an excellent job,
can't do
though.
anymore.
It is very long. He's saying that the United States is going to save trillions of dollars. And I love the way he signs off on this. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again.
He's like some sort of sitcom boss. I mean, he really is.
But
put him in a SpongeBob person or something.
Apparently, there's a lot of the drug makers that are on board with this. 4 or 5 of them met with RFK Jr. already. So it's not like this is a surprise to them. It's something they've been working on.
Well, the devils are in the details. We'll see what he has to say, and we'll keep you posted as we find out today what's going on.
All right, more Trump news, and this time it involves a plane. That's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
And I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me.
Pope Leo XIV.
As we continue as a church.
First American Pope from Chicago.
Hear the news.
Former daycare worker, sexually explicit material.
As events happen.
Gabriel Garner.
We'll happen to be there.
Taking those pictures and sharing the child pornography.
On the level, on the go.
Playoff series with the Cavs.
A lot of movement, flying around.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's May in Indiana, and I'm betting the floors in your home would appreciate a good cleaning. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and there is no better go-to resource for cleaning those floors than Zero Res. They can handle virtually every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, even your air ducts. Before we get any closer to summer, you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified for just $129, and you can take $75 off air duct cleaning too. Zero res means zero residue, and it's the water they use. They don't need soap or solvents to really clean your surfaces. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just healthy, fresh surfaces. Zero res cleans our floors, and I'll tell you that it is simply amazing, and it works. Don't take my word for it. Just check out 4,900 plus 5-star Google reviews. Call now, mention WIBC, get 3 rooms cleaning starting at just $129 plus $75 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141, online at zeroresindy.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds May 9th through 17th for Dana Mecum's 38th Original Spring Classic. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. And with more than 3,000 vehicles up for auction, it's a chance to bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Millions of illegal aliens crossed our southern border under Biden administration policies. But now, things are changing. This is your Congressman, Jefferson Shreve. I'm committed to securing our borders and to protecting our Hoosier communities. I'm delivering for you. Because of Republican leadership, illegal border crossings are at an all-time low. I'm leading the charge to complete the southern border wall and deport illegal aliens. I'm fighting for Indiana and working for you in Congress.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% landfill free, guaranteed destruction of data, and absolutely free pickups. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Start her engine by racing into Pierce Jewelers in Carmel for that perfect diamond engagement ring that will put you in the winner's circle. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Did all the talking.
What's the biggest gift you ever received from someone?
Oh, I thought you were going to make me intro the segment. I was like, I don't have any voice left after reading the Trump.
You shredded it nicely.
What was the question?
The biggest gift you ever received from someone.
Biggest gift?
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid?
Anytime in your life.
I mean, I had a very adult conversation with my father about 14 years old, and it was like, your grandma's going to keep getting you stuff. You're an adult now. You know, you can work, you can do your things. So I like anything that resembled an adult, and I'm fine with that. Like I don't, I don't know. I mean, I blocked out most of my childhood, so.
Selective memory.
Boy, I don't know. I got oh boy, howdy. I got my all-time favorite gift was when Santa Claus brought me a Nintendo in 1989 for Christmas.
Yeah,
there
you go.
That was a big deal back then.
That was probably pretty pricey too.
Yeah, I wonder let's see. I bet I could look that up. How about you? I mean, I'm kind of a minimalist, you know this. So what was the cost of a Nintendo in 1989? Let's see, AI. Oh, dang.
What was it?
According to this, now this is AI. There's no way my parents spent that for a Nintendo. They said $179.
I was going to say probably $180, $190.
Now,
but then you needed a game, so they were in for $200.
The games were really, really got you. Now, here's the thing. I had that Nintendo. I literally wore it into oblivion. I probably until the mid 2000s, and then I had to buy a second Nintendo. So you figure I got 25 or more years worth of use out of that Nintendo.
What was the favorite game?
RBI Baseball was strong. Baseball Stars was great. Man, Baseball Stars. It was one of the pinnacle of Nintendo baseball games. You could create. It was so far ahead of its time because you could create and save your team. Like you could make your team, and this was super advanced for Nintendo. Where obviously it's common now. What do they call them? Seasons or whatever. I don't play these games anymore. But is that what that's called? Like where football? Yeah. Thank you. But you could save your team at the end of each game. And I built this super team, and I played on it I was a player. Like I made my summer league baseball team. We were really good, and so I made my summer league baseball team this super team. Where we had all this money and we were making all this money. And then I will never forget this, Casey. It's amazing the things you remember. And in my origin story, this will be part of why I am as screwed up as I am. My friend's mother, in a fit of rage that we refused to quit playing the game to go whatever she needed to do, she removed the game from the Nintendo.
And it erased
all that work.
Oh, crushing.
All that work.
Wow.
And I tried then I lost the game, and then I bought it on eBay as an adult, and I tried to put it back together, and I never could recreate that team.
Oh.
And it was just...
This is why you try and block out part of your childhood.
Well, this is it, right?
Moments
These
like
are the things that come flooding back.
Yeah.
I did not think when I left for work today that I was going to be exposed to that trauma when I was 14 years old or whatever I was. Anyway, but there's a reason you're asking me this.
Well, $200 Nintendo game, a little bit different than a luxury Boeing 747. That's the gift that the Trump administration is preparing to accept from the Qatar family, the royal family.
How much?
Well, I don't know how much. $400 million?
That's the cost of an airplane?
Yeah, the estimated value of the aircraft, $400 million.
Okay, so I see both sides of this. Now, some of the things that people are being outraged over, I think, are kind of ridiculous, and then some of the things I think there's merit to. So this government of Qatar, right? Qatar, I think is actually how you pronounce it. The government of Qatar, even though it is spelled Qatar, it is pronounced Qatar. They are gifting Trump this airplane, which it sounds like is going to go into the Air Force One fleet.
Yes.
And people are up in arms over this, saying he's accepting a bribe, that he's on the take. Now, the Attorney General and various other institutions have apparently prepared a memo saying why this is not. I don't have any problem with another government giving our government something. Hello, Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
Is anybody saying we should give that back to France?
No.
What was that? It was a gift, right? I don't have any problem because Trump is apparently angry that it has taken so long to build a new Air Force One. They have been for some reason, incompetency, whatever.
They've been well behind schedule.
In the works for years with Air Force One. He brought Elon Musk in to try to help Boeing. Apparently that's gone a little bit better, but it is looking like this Air Force One at the very best will be available for the middle part of his new term. He's not going to get it for a while.
Right.
So the government of Qatar is Qatar, Kloffenstein,
right.
Qatar.
Tomato.
Is now gifting him this plane, obviously to curry various favor with our country, and people are losing their mind. I don't have any problem with this because it's given to the government. It's a gift to the government. However,
it's not a gift to Donald Trump, and then he's going to pass it on to the Trump Library.
This is my problem. It then is not going to stay in the U.S. fleet after Trump is president, unlike the Statue of Liberty, which was obviously still is. You come into this country, you see at a various location, you see the Statue of Liberty. It's right there. It is a representation of the United States of America, has been for many, many years.
they're going to give this to his library. So there is part of it then that kind of feels like, while it is going to be used by our country, that it was a gift to him because his library will be the beneficiary of this after he is out of office.
So Trump referred to it as a flying palace, and I'm wondering about the security risk because it's going to have to be retrofitted, right?
Yes.
With foreign secure communications and defense systems that Air Force One would have.
So the government now will have possession of this aircraft, and they're going to have to basically. So this is what I don't understand, and I'm not an airplane person. I have no idea. The cost of having to strip the thing down and then put all the stuff in.
Right.
That seems like that would be very expensive as well, doesn't it?
Well, he says that it's going to save the taxpayers a lot of money. Because it won't have to be built.
So then, are we done building the
scratch.
other jumbo jet that he wanted? Are we done? I don't think we're done with that.
No, that next fleet's not going to be available, or it's not going to be operational at least until 2027 or later.
So I don't have an issue with the thing being gifted to the country. I have an issue with it then going out of service to the country and going to the Trump airport, because then that kind of feels like it's a gift to him.
So the Trump administration, they saying that they're being real transparent about this. They're telling everybody, hey, this is where it's coming from. This is the deal. Unlike, like we're telling you.
What we're going to be transparent about is telling you that the news is coming up next with our new pal who has totally ingratiated himself to this program, Jarrett Lewis. He's next with the news.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The USA and China reaching a trade deal. Skies are cloudy at 66 degrees on Monument Circle. Some light rain in the area as well. Your high today, 76. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:31. The U.S. and China announcing that tariffs against each other will be reduced for a 90-day period after negotiations were held in Geneva, Switzerland over the weekend. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joining Fox and Friends to discuss her reaction to the two sides reducing tariffs by 115%.
This is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Besson, Ambassador Greer, and of course President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
This agreement halts an escalating trade war between the two countries over the past few weeks following President Trump's announcement of tariffs on many countries on April 2nd. Earlier this morning in a post to Truth Social, Trump also saying that drug prices will be cut by up to 59%. President Trump says an American will be freed by Hamas after being held hostage since October of 2023. 21-year-old Edon Alexander is the last living American hostage. Opening statements in the sex trafficking case against rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs begin today. Combs is appearing in person in New York City. If convicted on all charges, Combs could face life in prison. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up over 1,000 points, 41,249.38. The S&P 500 also up 172 points to 5,659. As for the NASDAQ, it is up 785 points, 20,061.45. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get zero down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Indianapolis to see the full line of Kubota or visit McAllisterKubota.com.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
It's the Bash Sale, the biggest automotive sale in history. Your local Bill Estes dealerships are coming in hot with deals on trucks you don't want to miss. We have a huge selection of trucks at one easy online stop. Brand new Chevy, Ford, GMC, Jeep, Ram, and Toyota trucks with a massive pre-owned selection too. Plus, our fair and direct upfront pricing means what you see is what you pay. Shift into savings during the Bash Sale, only at Bill Estes dealerships, and drive away in your dream truck today. Online at BillEstesTrucks.com.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joyce House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
There's a black man with a black cat.
Did you see Ron DeSantis was leading? Did you see how Ron DeSantis was leading? I mean, this is foreign to our listeners because, of course, we have backroom Braun leading our state, and of course he has no ballular area whatsoever. And I mean, the guy admitted on statewide radio, I didn't veto it because nobody respects me and it wouldn't do any good anyway.
Because the veto is just symbolic.
Yeah.
Unless you put a little weight behind it.
I mean, that's what he's saying. When he, being Braun, went on Tony Katz's program after he stabbed millions of taxpayers in the back and signed that horrible property tax bill, and he said, well, the veto is just symbolic. You think if Mitch Daniels vetoed something, people would have seen it as just symbolic?
Symbolic, right.
You think like people would have been like, well, there's no need to have any concern about why the governor wasn't for that. Braun admitted on Tony's show no one respects him, and he has no ballular area to stand up for himself and fight these people on it. How pathetic.
I mean, he just flat out said, I don't have any control. It's the legislators that have all the control. The governor's just a figurehead.
Yeah, he is their child. I think I can say it in that manner. And I mean, they own him, and that is so pathetic. And I cannot imagine as the governor of a state, even if it were true, admitting it out loud. And so Braun has admitted he's not fighting for you on anything. He is not going to stand for you on anything. He's not going to stand up for you. He's not going to battle. He is just a figurehead. He is, you know who he is? He is Prince Charles. I mean, that's what the king.
Or Joe Biden.
Well, right. I mean, but at least theoretically, a presidential veto, you got to get 2/3 majority, and it's usually not going to get overridden. But I mean, what? Because the king doesn't have any actual power now, right? It's just a figurehead,
right?
That's Braun.
That's Braun in his big mansion.
Yeah. But anyway, Ron DeSantis has now made property taxes in his state his signature issue now that he is going for. He's been very passionate about this for really the past year.
Yeah, he was in Jacksonville, and he was out promoting his plan to lower their property taxes, also provide some financial relief for Floridians. He wants to do $1,000 tax rebate checks for every single homeowner. And he has also proposed that they eliminate property taxes forever in that state.
Do we have some audio of this?
We do, and I feel like we're at this point we're writing copy for these politicians.
Yes.
Like he said something exactly what I said when we were at that rally in front of the governor's mansion. Take a listen.
No, you should own your property free and clear. I think to say that someone that's been in their house for 35 years just has to keep ponying up money, that is not. You don't own your home if that's the case. So yes, of course, I'd like to see people be able to owe free and clear. And it's interesting because it's like if I go to Best Buy and buy a flat screen TV and put it on the wall, I got to pay a sales tax on it, right? But I don't keep paying tax on it every year. I mean, it's just not, that's not how we do things. It's like, okay, if you're going to tax something, you tax it at the transaction and then let people actually enjoy their private property free and clear of the government.
Hard to argue with any of that.
Right.
I thought that was the plan during the campaign. That was kind of the plan. And then the plan, well, then there was a new plan. Nobody got told about the new plan until the moment the new plan had been approved. And, on one hand, I feel like we're beating a dead horse. But on the other hand, people are going to keep getting screwed. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody in the grocery store over the weekend about just this, about how screwed up the assessment process is in this state and how the assessors are admitting we are incapable of doing this job based on the limited staff that we have. We're doing as best we can. And until you fix the assessment issue, this is going to continue to happen.
And so Ron DeSantis went on to say that property taxes, they're unaffordable for many, especially families that are buying medium-priced homes in Florida. He did express his frustration with the Florida House because they've been resisting his property tax reform proposals. Sounds familiar, but he's advocating for transaction-based taxation instead of ongoing property taxes, which is similar to what that poll that Indy Politics did, where I believe 66% of people said that they wanted to eliminate property taxes altogether in Indiana, and their solution of choice would be sales tax.
So I posted this over the weekend, and it's one of those moments where something brilliant, we've talked about how
You had a brilliant moment over the weekend?
How my mind works and how, sometimes one of the problems with having such a ever working cranium like I do is there's just not enough space. We refer to it almost like as a file cabinet where there's only so much space and there's so much greatness in there that in order to bring new stuff in, I have to take stuff out of the file cabinet. And I guess there was just a little speck of room over the weekend because I came up with something that I thought was brilliant, which is if I'm running for State House next year, and any person running for State House or State Senate next year against an incumbent may use this phrase. If you'd like to credit me, that'd be wonderful, but you need not if it will help you get elected. If I were challenging an incumbent, there's almost 100 Republicans between the House and the Senate that are up for re-election next year, I would run on the tagline, and I would put it everywhere, I want less of your stuff. I mean, I would put on my yard signs, my door hangers, everything in these primaries. Because if someone sees the phrase, I want less of your stuff, then it instantly sparks the conversation about how much of your stuff the guy who's in there or the girl who's in there has taken. And so any person who's running for a state house or state senate seat next year may use the phrase, "I want less of your stuff." Put it everywhere. Just give me some credit.
So you could do it like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
That's right. Yes, yes, that's correct, Casey. Speaking of people who are in office, we've got a guest coming in tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's going to be on the program.
Are you going to say who it is?
No, you booked it.
Big surprise.
Well, no. We want to tell people. JD Prescott is going to.
One of the JDs. There's so many JDs these days.
JD Prescott's going to be with us tomorrow on tomorrow's program, and we give him credit. He has been very, very insistent. He's willing to come in and defend all of his votes, and he knows we're not very happy with him. He's saying the
taxes are being lowered.
Yes, he's very adamant.
Is that correct?
Your taxes are going down.
Okay.
And he does not think that he lied or misled to our audience, and so we give him credit. He, unlike Braun or Bray or Houston or any of the rest, Diego, Rokita,
right?
Any of the rest of these chuckleheads, he manned up and said, "I'll come in and talk to you about it." So we give him credit for that, and we'll give him as much time as he wants, and we'll have him on tomorrow.
Does he realize one of the first questions is going to be, why did you go along with SB1?
I think
he was fighting against it.
He has to know, and I
think I know what his answer is going to be.
Well, and that's fine, and we're very fair when we interview people, and we'll see what happens, but that will be tomorrow. I think that'll be a very listened to interview that a guy who was
spirited
was seen as one of the people we could kind of trust on the property tax thing.
He spoke at the rally.
Well, he did. And he look, he's entitled to his opinion. We're entitled to tell him it sucks, and we give him credit for coming in and taking the heat, because most of these guys won't do it.
Okay, do you want to talk about Diego Morales for just a quick sec?
Jeez. Why don't we take a break? Let's take a break, because I gotta get.
You gotta get in the Diego Morales mode.
I gotta prepare.
How does one do that, by the way?
I gotta prepare myself.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it. 3:06. The biggest stories in Indy. We'll recap the weekend. Guy Relford joins us. 93 WIBC.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy world-class dining and distilleries, shops, spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? Well, it sounds like you could use a spring in your step. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I've got just the thing to help you spring forward into comfort. Good Feet's unique patented 3-step arch support system is designed to reduce pressure on your joints to keep you feeling energized all day long, even when you're running on an hour's less sleep. With less pressure on your joints, you'll also experience less pain and discomfort too. When you visit the Good Feet store, we'll take time with you to figure out what you need on your free personalized fitting. You can also take all the time you need to walk in-store to feel the Good Feet difference personalized for your feet, your shoes, and your lifestyle. Most of our customers say they feel relief immediately, and you can too. Make your appointment today at goodfeet.com. Don't just live with the pain. Discover your options and spring into comfort at the Good Feet store. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk. We're in your neighborhood. Visit goodfeet.com to find the location nearest to you.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Robert Kirby reminds us to keep our air conditioners and heat pumps clear of debris.
So the outdoor equipment is very important to keep clean. We do have a lot of cottonwood trees here in central Indiana. You know, it's amazing how dirty those things can get in just one season. So it's very important to keep your air conditioner and heat pump cleaned every year.
Need help? No problem. Go to KirbyHeating.com. Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Memorial Day is for honoring heroes. In Indy, it's also a day for celebrating the Indy 500. As the excitement of May grows, so do the temperatures outside. Indiana American Water reminds you to start conserving water. Just like a finely tuned race car, your home needs to run efficiently. Fix leaks, use water-efficient appliances, and do lawn watering early in the morning. Make this summer a season of savings and sustainability. Conserve water, save money, and enjoy a greener tomorrow. Happy Memorial Day and enjoy the race. From Indiana American Water.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
The WIBC mashup is everything you love, from fiery debates to laugh out loud takes, all in one podcast. No weak sauce, just the best of the day each weekday. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
Anyway,
You didn't say anything.
No, I just sometimes I'm thinking things in my mind and then I realize I didn't actually say it out loud. Kenny Rogers makes me smile. But one, my grandmother loved Kenny Rogers, but two, I used to drive people to the point when I was an elected person.
Mm-hmm.
I was great at driving people to the point of insanity, to where they would I didn't even do anything. I mean, I would do things without doing them,
Mm-hmm.
and it would make them lose their minds. You don't look at me like you're confused. You worked with me for.
I completely understand. I'm wondering if you're going to give us a real world example.
Well, I am, and it has Kenny Rogers in it. I always viewed being an elected person like, okay, I'm going to get as much for the taxpayers as I can,
Mm-hmm.
and then you guys, most of you who are up here with me, are trying to take as much from them as you can. So I'm going to get as much as I can. And then my goal is to make you as miserable as I possibly can, to make you earn every single screwing of the taxpayers that you're going to get away with. And I know I'm a button presser, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I read people. That's what I used to tell these guys all the time. I said, I was in radio for 10 years before I came here. I'm in the media.
Mm-hmm.
I can run circles around you people. I know what every single button, every single one of you has, and I will push it to the nth degree. And I made one guy so mad one time. This is in a public meeting, and I'm trying to find coward of the county. I made one guy so mad one time that he said, "You know what you are? You know what you are? You're the guy in the coward of the county from the Kenny Rogers song." And he proceeded to read the lyrics in a public meeting. If you go back and review, I don't even know when it was, but it's up there somewhere. The guy read the lyrics to Coward of the County in a public meeting.
Okay.
And so that was in some way benefiting the taxpayers. And then I just sat there with a grin on my face.
So now every time you hear Kenny Rogers, you think of that.
That guy that I made so mad that he started reciting the lyrics to the Coward of the County.
Was it effective? I mean, did he get his point across or not?
No, he looked like an idiot.
Okay.
He looked like an unhinged idiot, which was my goal.
You know who else looks like an unhinged idiot?
Who?
Your Secretary of State.
Well, he's a criminal mastermind at this point, not in the sense we don't know whether he's actually committing any crimes, but we do know that he is masterminding the ability to do some sort of jujitsu on the entire General Assembly and all of our statewide office holders, despite the fact that he's pulling, at the very best, highly unethical bull crap, up to and including disappearing to India for 10 days, running around with a guy who's bragging about how he's selling EB-5 visa access on Facebook. Nobody knows what he did there. Nobody knows why he was there. his job, nothing in his job would require him to be there. And yet he blew off his budget hearing. He's totally emasculating the governor. And nobody does anything about this guy.
No, he was on an economic development trip, Rob. So I don't know if it's a crime or not, but somebody else is saying that he's violating election laws, and that's the Marion County Clerk, Kate Sweeney, because he used clips in his latest re-election campaign video that was during an official visit to the Marion County Election Service Center on Election Day in November. And the Marion County Clerk is saying, well, wait a second. You can't use that as part of your campaign. And by the way, there were people in the video who did not give you permission to use their face in this.
And it's obvious stuff. It's obvious stuff that any reasonable person, right? Like that should be the test. Would a reasonable person think this is okay? And what reasonable person would think that you go in your official job capacity, and everybody knows the separation of government and campaign, right?
Right. The law prohibits government employees from using government property for campaign activities.
Casey, you have a family member who works for the state of Indiana, correct?
Yeah.
How early in the process did that family member have to sit down for training where they made very clear the separation of the campaign and the office itself?
It was day one.
Yes, thank you.
Ethics training. And he was on it, too. He was like, I want to make sure.
Right, because your husband is a good and decent person who actually gives a damn about the rules and the people that he is, in this case, hired to serve. This guy, on the other hand, Diego Morales flips a giant middle finger at everyone but himself and does whatever he's going to do. And any reasonable person would know, if you're in your official capacity doing your official work on government property around people who aren't a part of your campaign, by the way, they're there doing their official job, you shouldn't be able to use that footage and make these people a part of your campaign propaganda.
Okay, now listen to this. The Secretary of State's office claims the video was part of an Election Day recap posted to social media, and it is subject to public use. He's saying, no, we can use that now. So that means anybody can use it.
This guy's rotten to the core, and I hope the voters will do something about it next convention. It's the Republican Party, so we'll see. Kev, my challenge to you is to play Coward of the County next hour.
I'll cue it up.
Hey, can we talk about your governor coming up?
Again?
Yeah.
Jeez. Can we talk about his lack of ballular area again?
If we must. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Know when to walk away.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts at the Low T Center for a free consultation and a free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurances accept it. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment right now at the Low T Center. Offer is limited, but book right now. FixMyLowT.com. That's FixMyLowT.com.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds May 9th through 17th for Dana Mecum's 38th Original Spring Classic. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. And with more than 3,000 vehicles up for auction, it's a chance to bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
The most extraordinary thing a woman can do is let herself be human. We try to do it all, sure, but what if we're just not feeling it? Like when the fatigue hits, but you gotta bring snacks to the soccer game? Or when the laundry's piling up, but that hot flash says, too bad. We get it. Franciscan Health has care for extraordinary women who can do it all, but don't have to. Visit franciscanhealth.org/OBGYN today.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela of Michaelis. If you have water damage, why should you call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. On call 24/7, 365. We are IICRC certified and will restore your space to pre-loss condition or better. And we work through the entire insurance process on your behalf to make it easy.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, a convicted cop killer making a new plea for clemency. 3 area hospitals see 3 gunshot victims early this morning. Looking ahead to the possible severe weather later on this week as well. You're listening to 93 WIBC. It's 10 o'clock.
Big gains in the stock market. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A big surge after a U.S.-China trade deal. The Dow is up almost 1,000 points after an agreement slashes the high tariffs that halted most trade. President Trump said minutes ago,
"We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us."
The U.S. will cut the charge on Chinese imports from 145% to 30%. China's tariffs on American goods will drop from 125% to 10%. Before taking off on a Middle East trip, the president's going to sign an executive order to lower drug prices. Fox's Alexandria Hoff reports from the White House.
Prescription drug prices will be slashed by 59%. Currently, Americans pay about 3 times more for the same medication as compared to other high-income nations. Now, Reuters reports that drug makers expect the focus to be on the Medicare insurance program. President Trump stated that he will be instituting a most favored nations policy to achieve the price reduction.
Israel's getting ready to get a soldier back next hour. That's when we expect Hamas to hand over Idan Alexander, who's also the last living American hostage still held captive after the 2023 terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza.
Idan Alexander's a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen, and Hamas says he's going to be released as part of steps being taken toward a ceasefire and the entry of aid and relief for the Gaza Strip. As for Alexander, he was raised in New Jersey and moved to volunteer for military service in the Israeli Defense Forces.
Fox's Jill Nato. There could be direct talks Thursday in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky says he'll be there and challenges Russian leader Vladimir Putin to meet him face to face. Pope Leo XIV is pushing for an end to the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. And this morning, he met with thousands of journalists at the Vatican, urging them to use words for peace, to reject war and give voice to the voiceless, and calling for the release of imprisoned journalists. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Seeking to have his life spared. It's mostly cloudy, 67 in downtown Indianapolis. The high today, 76. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Death row inmate Benjamin Ritchie is seeking clemency, claiming fetal alcohol syndrome has caused him to have severe brain damage and a lack of impulse control, all in the murder of Beech Grove police officer in 2000.
Any situation of his life, he's forever disabled. This isn't something that he's going to get better from.
Deputy Public Defender Mark Kolsecki, who represents Ritchie, who shot and killed Beech Grove cop William Toney after he stole a van, then ran from police in 2000. IMPD says 3 people, including 1 woman, were shot early this morning on the city's east side, and all took themselves to the hospital, the victims in stable condition. But police have not made any arrests and have not said if they have leads on any suspects. Scattered showers expected to fall across Indiana starting today, but it also warms up this week.
And towards the end of the week, we actually might be nearing some record high temperatures in the upper 80s. Even near 90 degrees, so that'll be something to look out for as well.
Cody Moore with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says he's also concerned about the potential for severe weather on Thursday. The Indiana Pacers getting a big win Sunday night and made some history in the process. John Herrick reports.
The Pacers clobbered the Cleveland Cavaliers Sunday night to win Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, 129-109. Here's part of what the first half sounded like on the Pacers radio network with Mark Boyle.
Turner is feeling it, and why not? Why not? Why not? A 3 from 2 miles away, out on the left side. This cannot possibly be happening.
The Pacers also dished out 25 assists in the first half. That is an NBA postseason record for assists in a half in the play-by-play era, which started in 1998. John Herrick.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. Are you still putting screens on your gutters? If the holes are too big, debris gets in, and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top, and now you're cleaning the screens. I have Gutter Helmet on my home, and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. Right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 19% discount, plus, get this, 12 months no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Give them a call at 800-5HELMET. That's 800-5HELMET to schedule a free estimate. 19% off restrictions apply and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET or go to gutterhelmetindy.com and never clean your gutters again.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You're late.
I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Look, you're going to have to up your game a little bit. You come rushing in here, totally out of breath.
Were you nervous?
Yes, I was in a full panic, Casey. I could not possibly have done 1 minute of radio by myself. Would have been horrible.
That's because you told me to go run down the hall.
In fairness, I did tell you to go where you went to.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta.
So I took care of it, by the way. I took care of the little errand that you sent me on, and I was here in time.
You did, and Steven, who is learning from Kevin. So Kevin is leaving for Europe, as he does once a year. Kevin burns all of his vacation days in a 2-week span every year.
Yeah.
Priority for me.
Steven is training to take over for Kevin while Kevin is gone. And so you and Steven, I sent you on a little scavenger hunt to because I'm lazy and I just didn't want to walk down there and do it myself, tack a note up on one of the studio doors. And so were you guys able to get it done?
Yeah.
Great.
Took care of it.
Thanks.
And I was here in time.
I won't even point out that you were almost late to the segment.
Like I always do to you.
Hey, okay, so did you see? It's the Kendall and Casey show, by the way. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Did you see? It has gotten so bad for the governor now. He can't even make a Mother's Day post without people just exploding in rage.
I know. It's something, right? Last week it was the Wawa post where he was talking about getting a milkshake at the new Wawa. And now it's Mother's Day.
Hey, welcome to our state, Wawa. And people are like, eat crap and die, old man.
I know. We don't care about your milkshake. Lower our taxes. So Governor Mike Braun, he tweets out this Mother's Day, we're not just celebrating moms, we're supporting them. In my first 100 days, I signed an executive order increasing and expanding paid parental leave for state employees.
Don't for the state.
Yeah.
He took care of his peeps.
Yeah. We're leading the way in showing that Indiana is a state that supports strong families and new mothers.
Wait. Go back to that. So he's bragging because unless Braun's whipping out some of that $136 million in his own personal fortune, somebody else is paying that freight. He's bragging that he made it so that other people have to pay for other people not to work. That's his big brag on Mother's Day?
That's it.
Hey, congratulations. Someone else paid for you to not have to work. Aren't I a great guy?
Expanded paid parental leave for state employees. He goes on to say, Happy Mother's Day to all Hoosier moms out there.
But he didn't do anything for non-state workers.
Correct.
So...
And somebody made sure to point that out in the comments.
Okay.
So boy, state employees, moms don't work anywhere else, I guess. Also, we want lower taxes and less spending.
I do wonder, the people who run these social media accounts, like, okay, on Braun's, for example, somebody has to, because do any of us think Braun would know how to run a Twitter account? Like if you handed him Twitter right now, does anyone think Braun could actually navigate Twitter? That he's ever seen Twitter?
He's probably seen it, but to create a post himself, no.
So we know he's running his own. He's not running his own Twitter account. So somebody.
No, he's not whipping out his state phone.
So somebody has to make that post. And you know at this point, somebody's in charge of monitoring the posts. And that person's, they probably need a mental health evaluation at this point. Because every post they make.
Yeah, they're getting an alert every time someone comments.
It's going to be an onslaught. No matter what, it can be Happy Mother's Day. And it's just going to be a bunch of people telling you how much you suck.
Right? Like, moms want to see lower taxes for their families, not raised property taxes and tolls. Moms help manage their family budget and know that you are taking money away from their families.
But that's all you really can do at this point is you have to try to make, now not this guy, but the people around him who run his social media, etc., as miserable as you possibly can. And this is what, unless people realize and enact this, nothing's going to change. So here's a great example. I was told Diego Morales was at some event over the weekend. The Indy Reporter people were at the event.
Yeah.
And he's spewing the bull crap, right? He's spewing I go to all these counties, I go to these foreign countries. He mentions India, and he just says, well, no state funds were used. And nobody called him out on it.
Yeah.
Nobody booed him. Nobody shouted at him. Nobody demanded to know. These people just, I don't know why. I don't know why these guys are allowed to get away with this. Unless you start doing it in person, unless you start making these people as miserable as they've made you in person, they're going to keep it up. When you see Braun out, it's not enough to do it on social media. You've got to go up to him, if you can, peacefully, in a law-abiding manner, and let him know how much he sucks. If you see Diego out, you've got to hold him down to who paid for India. You can't let him get away with his, oh, you are the man answer that he gives to every single thing he gets asked.
So nobody at the event with Diego Morales shouted out, who paid for the trip?
Yeah, and then make him answer. Everybody should be shouting it. Who paid for your trip to India? Some private group who, unless it's Little Sisters of the Poor, likely wants something in return, paid for you to go to India. Who was it? We have the ability to get these answers. We have the ability to force the politicians to do what we want them to do. But if you're going to go and be part of the ass kisser club, whether it's Diego in India or Braun at one of these chicken dinners or whatever, they don't care what you do on social media. It doesn't matter because they're not going to face the music. Every time somebody, look at Braun's bad appearances in the media when he gets held to account. Tucker Carlson, or was it Jesse Waters, or whoever. When he gets held to account, he wilts. He's horrible. He's horrible at getting his feet held to the fire. You got to do it, though. You got to do it in person. If you don't do it, these guys are going to keep pulling the bullcrap.
Get rid of property tax. Get rid of gas tax. Stop spending money. I'm looking forward to voting against the entire state government in the primaries. Clear the board. That's a comment on a Mother's Day post.
And he deserves every bit of it. But if you don't do it in person, and get it on film. Like, I cannot wait. At some point, I'm going to cross paths with Diego Morales. At some point, I'm going to see him out and about. Now, the last time, and I should have done it, the last time, and I regret not doing it, but I saw him when the day Braun lied to everybody and told me to my face that he was going to sign that property tax bill and screw everybody.
Right, when you were walking out, Diego was walking in.
I was, and there were about 3 or 4 people around him, and I needed to get to talk to Micah, back when we thought Micah still was a fighter for us, about how to fight this property tax thing. And I had to make a quick decision to go deal with Micah, which, hindsight, that was a colossal waste of my time. I should have stayed. I should have got up there, and I should have got it on film, and I wish I had. But I'm going to make it up to people. I'm going to get him eventually. I'm going to be in the same place with Diego Morales at some point, and I will do all the things. But don't wait for me. You can do it. He's out and about. He goes all of these places. Why does no one hold him to account?
Somebody said that everybody in the crowd at the Diego Morales event was just eating up his words. They were buying every single line.
But then I see, okay, well, he's got an 80% disapprove rating in that Indy Politics survey. So not everybody's eating it up. I think people get intimidated. I think people are worried they're going to be seen as being ill-mannered or being unprofessional, or like your neighbor. By your neighbor, I mean the person next to you is going to look down on you. Who cares?
Yeah.
Clearly, the people, when they're privately asked what do they think of this guy, they think, to steal a line from Caddyshack, he sucks, and they can't stand him. So put it out in the open. Don't let these people get. And when you see Todd Rokita out, ask Todd Rokita, why are you endorsing a guy who you fired from your office? The paperwork shows he was such an incompetent boob that you fired him from the office. Why are you endorsing a guy that thinks it's okay to give out these no-bid contracts? Why are you endorsing a guy that disappears to India for 10 days, won't tell the people who's paying for? Why are all of these people? Grill them. Hold them accountable. If you don't, they're going to keep screwing you over.
Mike's motto, you will own nothing and be happy, because I will tax you out of your house so the corporations can buy it up and rent it back to you.
It's firm but fair.
The top comment right now on the Governor Mike Braun account, just delete your account.
Now, how long? Because like Micah has the comments turned off on his state account. How long until Braun just cries uncle and turns the comments off on his state account? Because the rule is, correct me if I'm wrong, the rule is
all or nothing.
Yeah, you can block everybody from commenting. But if you open the door for anyone to comment, you got to let everybody comment.
Correct.
So
it's all or nothing.
So Braun could shut it off, which would be hilarious. I mean, that would be great if he actually wilted and shut the comments off.
But the thing is, he's not getting these on his phone.
Well, you're right.
Somebody else is seeing these comments.
You're right. You're 100% right, Casey. And that's why what I just said. He does not, some intern or low staffer is seeing this. He needs to hear it in person. And the only way he's going to hear it in person is if you say it to him in public. Got to start ratcheting the smoke up on these guys. Again, peaceful, law-abiding, legal. I'm not saying you should do untoward. But anyway, yeah, all right, we got to go to a break.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
When you wake up,
You understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
when you work,
As long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
when you drive home,
Is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
traffic when you need it,
Stopped on 465 again.
and updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
This is the epic story that takes a whole month to tell. This is May. The legendary intense action of the month of May continues as PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the thrilling drama of the fight for the pole position. The most epic month continues with Indy's most epic party, Your Light Carb Day. And all roads lead to the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. This is epic. This is legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg.
So we do it every day. Do you think we're going to get a Golden Globe for doing it?
Not even. Oh, podcasting.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the Golden Globes is video, right?
No, they're going to add a new podcast, best podcast category.
Right, but wait. But the Golden Globes is movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, major film, also TV. They recognize TV shows as well. And now they're adding this best podcast category. It's going to start with the 83rd ceremony in 26.
So you're... Wait. Okay, so you've got the Golden Globes, which gives awards for television and movies. It's both?
Correct.
Okay, so now they're saying we're going to add a podcasting category, categories. Okay, well, so on some level that makes sense because, let's face it, every day more and more people are consuming video content on the internet. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
However, they're not bound by the same, although if they got their own category, like I'm working through this in my head, they've got their own, like they're not bound by the same restrictions, regulations, rules that a terrestrial broadcaster would be. They can say and do things.
Correct.
You can't do on CBS.
Because we have to answer to the federal government by way of the Federal Communications Commission.
I thought the Golden Globes were just...
Nope, they do TV as well.
No kidding. Okay, so they're in their own category. I think I'm I mean, I don't know what the standard would be. What's the standard?
Well, isn't that interesting? The criteria and eligibility details are going to be announced in the coming weeks. So we don't know what the criteria is, other than the top 25 podcasts are going to qualify for consideration, and then they're going to have 6 final nominations.
So when you say podcast, that's the spoken word. It's not like we're doing best
long-form spoken word,
best internet or online movie.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are there newscasters can get Golden Globes, right? Is that I'm asking.
If they're, what do you mean newscasters? Like,
is there one for best newscast, best nightly?
I don't believe so. No.
Well, then what is the comparative Golden Globe that television or whatever would be up against? Like, what spoken word?
There isn't one really. I mean, they've got, your TV shows or your dramas and your comedies, your entertainment, your late night shows.
When's the last time you actually watched the Golden Globes?
It's been long enough that I don't remember.
Kev, you ever watch the Golden Globes? You don't exactly strike me as someone who would be entrenched in the Golden Globes outcomes.
I've never cared about it. I liked the Grammys a long time ago, but that's the most I watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is the thing. These award shows are dying, and I think that's why they're bringing this in.
They're stretching, trying to get new people,
trying to get
interested,
younger people to engage in, because it's so easy to hate Hollywood. Now, the problem with this is, it used to be, and you're the entertainment person, so correct me if I'm wrong on this. It used to be, hey, this award show is a big deal because you're going to know all the faces.
Right.
And you're going to know the shows, and you're going to know the movies, and you're seeing people. This, like, if you're, I'm just picking a name here, right? If you're a huge Harrison Ford fan, this might be one of 5 times throughout the course of the year you get to see Harrison Ford in a non-on-screen role. Oh, cool, it's Harrison Ford. But Hollywood is so reviled now, and it's so these actors and stuff are so out there in terms of Twitter and social media, and it's not even a big deal to see them anymore. That's why these award shows are kind of going away. The lure of or luster of Hollywood is a thing of the past.
Yeah, now young people only care about social media.
That's right.
Influencers.
That's
Those
right.
are
And you
the
see
new
all them all the
celebrities.
time anyway. So will this even be a big deal for that? Because you see them all the they won some award that you don't care about, that you've never. I mean, no person under 25 is ever engaged in the Golden Globes. So what? Why would they watch? You got a trophy. Oh, cool.
Well, not only that, but the Hollywood stars turn off so many people with their political comments when they're accepting their award, right? Which is a different vibe of the nation right now.
And I wonder. So like the Kentucky Derby last week, that influencer, perfect looking, chiseled human guy who had the personality of paint that they interviewed, he was listed as a influencer. I'd never heard of this guy.
I believe he's on TikTok.
Doing what?
Promoting Sandman the horse.
But I mean, he's an influencer. He must influence someone or something.
He was trying to influence people's betting on the Kentucky Derby.
But Casey, listen to me. What does he do? I understand he owns a horse, or is an owner in a horse, which is why he was there. What does he do to influence people? He looked like he had an IQ of 9 and the personality of a gnat. And so what? I mean, does he just walk around on the internet with his shirt off all day? Like, what does he do to influence people?
Possibly. I don't know. I've never seen the guy.
So my broader point in all of this is, unlike the old-timey award shows where you knew all the actors and you knew all the players and you knew the shows and blah, 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 if somebody's going to win some award for best podcast, you've likely never heard of it or maybe even listened to it because the internet is so vast.
Right. And it's just becoming even more fragmented, right? This is the 3rd new category that the Golden Globes have added since 23. They've added the cinematic and box office achievement in motion pictures. And also best stand-up comedian on television. So again, they're trying to bring more people in.
You know how like the end of a TV show, when the show has clearly jumped the shark and they just start throwing more characters at it.
That's what the Golden Globes have done.
That's what they're doing. The show is over and they're trying to prolong it with the advertisers. They must have enough advertisers that financially it's worth doing, that they just are throwing new wacky side characters. Wasn't the Partridge Family? Didn't they introduce Bernard or the little oh, that was that the Brady Bunch?
Brady Bunch with Oliver.
Oliver, thank you. And then obviously Happy Days, Chachi, and all the wacky side guy. I mean, you see them. This is happening here, right?
This is what the Golden Globes is doing.
Thing.
The nominations for the ceremony.
Cousin Oliver, wasn't it?
It was Cousin Oliver. Yep, they're going to be revealed on December 8th.
Bernard. Wrong show, wrong name. I got close.
You were close. You were so close. It's the 83rd Golden Globes. It's going to take place on January 11th, 2026. So, mark your calendar.
Well, you can mark me down amongst the majority of Americans who won't be participating.
Okay. Now, did you see there's something else that's going on revolving your TV? The Senate Commerce Committee held a hearing titled Field of Streams, the new channel guide for sports fans. And the goal of this was to examine the future of sports broadcasting and streaming. So some of these...
Wait. Our Senate, like in an official government
like
action...
Ted Cruz. Yes.
Like
your senators.
It's not balancing the budget.
Correct.
It's not inflation.
Right.
It's not runaway government spending. It's not... the border. They actually wasted government time, probably millions upon millions of government resources to examine
streaming of sports.
Sports streaming?
Yes. Ted Cruz expressed concern over the fragmentation of sports viewing. He noted that fans now have to have multiple apps and subscriptions to watch one team's full season. And they were also very critical of blackouts.
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one. It was bipartisan, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
There was a Democrat from Washington, also a Democrat from Nevada. They all got together. Now,
wait. So it's just now dawning on our elected officials that the sports and entertainment industries are colossal ripoffs that don't exist for the patrons, but rather to make as much money for super rich people, both the athletes and owners, as they possibly can. It's just now. It's just now hitting people like Ted Cruz that's what the sports and entertainment industry is.
Yeah, so there's this 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act, and it grants leagues antitrust exemptions.
That's right.
And they're now saying that 1961 law is outdated because it was created when you only had ABC, NBC, and CBS, when they dominated the landscape. And they're now saying that, well, now you got these platforms like Apple TV and Amazon Prime and Max and Netflix and everything, and it's forcing fans to pay more to have access to full seasons of their favorite sporting events.
Yeah. It's a money-making operation. Oh, and by the way, why is the government involved in this? You don't have to watch it. You're not obligated. You don't have any right to watch whoever you want. If you don't like the way they're doing it, protest. Don't give them the money.
The NFL did not attend the meeting. Roger Goodell was not present. He declined to testify. And they say that there was no specific regulatory actions being proposed. This hearing was described as informational and fact-finding.
So they had a meeting about nothing. It's a Seinfeld episode. They had a meeting about, this is your government. Think about how much money with staff and research and all, because these senators, of course, don't do any of this stuff on their own. How much time and effort was wasted on this for no purpose. No purpose whatsoever. They admitted it out loud. Oh, and by the way, it's such a joke that the largest sporting organization in the world, the behemoth by which everything else runs around, said, here are both of our butt cheeks. Why don't you smooch them real long and real close?
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Flexware Innovation Inc. is seeking a full-time software engineer in Fishers, Indiana to develop critical features for internal applications and user guides to enhance the overall user experience, and use custom software solution, Lift, to build new solutions that revolve around intralogistics initiatives. May work remotely from home within commuting distance of 12 Municipal Drive, Fishers, Indiana 46038. Contact Lindsay Imhoff, technical recruiter. Team lead, lindsay.imhoff@flexware.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Working through the new trade deal. partly sunny, 67 on Monument Circle. The high today, 77. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:31. China and the U.S. are agreeing to drastically reduce tariff rates following weekend trade talks. President Trump calls the deal with China a total reset.
The Trump administration has agreed to drop the tariff rate on Chinese imports to 30%, down from a 145% charge imposed last month. The Chinese government is dropping tariffs on U.S. exports to 10%, each country agreeing to a 90-day reprieve following direct talks over the weekend in Geneva between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and top Chinese officials. A joint statement from the two sides says the pause is in the spirit of a mutual opening, continued communication, cooperation, and mutual respect.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Trump signing an executive order aimed at reducing drug costs. It's not yet clear which drugs would be impacted, but some could see prices drop by as much as 80%.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging.
The order is likely to face legal challenges, and a federal court blocked a similar plan during the president's first term. And Hamas says it will release an American-Israeli hostage. 21-year-old Edan Alexander is the last living American hostage. He had been held by Hamas since October of 2023. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Did you know Indiana has a critical shortage of high school referees?
It's causing our games to be canceled or understaffed, and we need your help. I'm Greer Swaim from Fishers High School.
And I'm Cooper Allen from Shenandoah High School. We need you so we can keep playing our favorite sports.
So our opportunities to learn aren't limited.
So our experience in high school sports is everything it should be.
With your help, we can make sure we have enough officials for every game.
And student athletes around the state always have the chance to grow through high school sports.
Are you game? Sign up as a high school official in your community today.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. High school sports can't happen without high school officials. Help us fill an urgent need in our state so games aren't canceled or understaffed. Visit ihsaa.org to become an official today. This is protecting high school sports. This is serving your community. This is your IHSAA.
Race into Pierce Jewelers in Carmel and make a pit stop to purchase that unique diamond engagement ring that will put you in the winner's circle. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
No, we're not talking about this thing yet because Trump's just reading from a piece of paper, so we'll figure out what he said about this drug pricing, and then top of next hour, we'll get into it. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good. He's having a press conference right now. It says Trump admin fights U.S. drug price disparity.
Now, this is what's crazy is the stock market is way up on this announcement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to figure out why that is, because you would think of it as a drug manufacturer, if they're slashing your prices, that wouldn't be good for them, but every other industry must like it. By the way, did you notice the stock market now is it's at 42,140. So all this, remember the tariffs were going to collapse the economy and everybody was going to lose all their life savings, and apparently that has not happened. The stock market's up like 910
So when
points
Trump
right now.
set out his tease of this announcement, were you trying to guess what it was going to be about? Because he was saying,
No, I've given up with
it
that.
was going to be
No.
very impactful. And I was like, is this hyperbole because it's Trump? You never know. He's saying this is going to impact people. You're going to be so happy. And I'm thinking, oh, is he just going to announce crypto something, or is this real?
Well, you never know with him, because it could be I shot one under over the weekend at my Mar-a-Lago golf course with him. It'll be who knows?
You never know.
It could be some shoe that he's selling.
And then the guesses ranged from, oh, he's going to eliminate income tax, to the war is over in Ukraine, to you never knew. Well, reach a deal with China on tariffs, and now it's this drug pricing.
And isn't it
announcement.
fascinating to see the Democrats try to figure out how to negatively spin this, because for years they're talking about it. And this is the thing about the Congress, and this is why I was so pissed off when Trump said that the Republicans were immune from this. No, all these people are bought by these drug companies, by these lobbying firms that represent these drug companies. And what is going to be fascinating now, because the Democrat, this way they never want to actually solve a problem in the government, because if they solve the problem, they can't fundraise.
What do we need them
or
for?
campaign off of fixing the issue.
Yeah.
So for the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warren people, how are they going to spin this? No matter what it is, Trump's coming out and saying he's going to cut drug costs 30 to 80%. That's a very wide range, by the way. Like that's very, who's getting the 80, who's getting the 30. But how are they going to spin this, even if it's complete bullcrap? How are they going to spin this as being negative, since they have run on this or tried to make this an issue for years and years and years and years?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what he has to say. Like you mentioned, it's all in the details, right? We'll see where it lands. So did you have a lot of conversations over the weekend about Pope Leo XIV? That was a top conversation with my family.
Well, you're Catholic.
Well, right. So obviously that was front and center. But
you think I, as a Pentecostal, I'm going to sit around having a bunch of conversations about the Pope?
Well, a lot of people were saying how their churches were crowded. Obviously, Mother's Day, that's going to happen, but many people were saying it seemed even more so.
Wait. You're telling me people think that their non-Catholic church was crowded because there's a new pope?
Because there's this resurgence in religion, Christianity resurgence. And there has been a Pew data study that says, yeah, that's true.
Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with there being a pope, right? I mean, this study was done way before they picked a new pope. I mean, I would get in the Catholic Church that there might be people who are taking an interest or a new resilience of their faith or interest in their faith or whatever.
Sure.
But there's no way that the Pope is influencing somebody who is a passively practicing Southern Baptist, not if there are passively practicing Southern Baptists, but you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, he's going to have an influence over his sphere of people, but everybody else. You're saying there was a study that came out before they picked a new pope, saying there's a new interest in faith in the country.
Yeah, it was done from Pew, and they said that Christianity is having a comeback in the United States, and it is led specifically by Gen Z, and to be more specific, it's led by men. Traditionally, women are the religious leaders in their houses. That's what they're saying, but now Gen Z, the gender gap is closing, and it's young men who are returning to the church.
Okay, there's a statistic, and I have to find it, that if a father of a household, if a father, the male figure in the house, comes to know the Lord, then the likelihood of his children, that family, the rest of the family knowing the Lord, being involved in a church is infinitely higher than if it's a mother or the children who are the first that come to be involved in the church. And I know that somebody's going to say, well, that sounds super sexist. No, the reality is in traditional households, there's a mother, a father, the children. The father, the male figure, is oftentimes the leader of the house, and so go them, so goes the rest of the house. And that isn't surprising that you're saying in these younger households, these younger people, men are leading the charge on this, and then people are following afterwards. That's how traditional families have worked throughout the course of human history.
So Pope Leo XIV, he had his first public address with the media, and he addressed over 1,000 journalists at the Vatican. And he expressed solidarity with journalists who are seeking the truth. And he's a big, wants to protect free speech, and not really a fan of the biased media, though.
Okay, let's talk about the Pope for a second, because we talked about this on... Was it Thursday? Thursday they made the announcement. Friday was the first day. Is that right? Okay. So we talked about, we're sort of in uncharted territory because this guy's an American Pope. He was part of a major metropolitan city, which is the city of Chicago. He was very involved in before he was a cardinal, with going to sporting events. He was a regular, comes off as a regular dude. And as the first American Pope, we are going to have a connection to him or an interest in him, unlike any other pope, certainly in my lifetime, or probably yours for that matter, because we're able to identify with the things this person has done. Like they caught him on TV at the World Series in 2005.
There's video of him at a baseball game.
It's crazy to think some dude looks back on that now and goes, I was passing brews to the Pope, right? Like, the beer vendor or whatever.
Right.
And also the Pope's siblings, because they're of this country, they are capable of communicating in English. They're known quantities in the communities in which they live. There's going to be scrutiny over them like never before.
So there has been video that is capturing the moment that the brother of Pope Leo XIV was returning a phone call to his brother.
Well, why don't you answer your phone? Well, first you need to know you're on the air right now. This has been going on since 11 o'clock this morning. This is the first time I'm hearing that this thing rang, and we are being filmed and recorded. Right now? Right this very minute.
Okay, so now the brothers are all over the media, being interviewed by everybody.
It's their moment in the sun too, baby.
Right. Except I would kind of like for them now to take a back seat and let him do his thing.
Well, we've had this conversation before about Supreme Court justices, and this is the first pope that's been picked since we've had our Kendall and Casey show. And I've said this about Supreme Court justices. While I admire the willingness to open the court in terms of the arguments now being able to be recorded, and so you can hear a transcript of what happened, I think that's great. I do not like that these judges are now becoming more open in terms of going and doing interviews, in terms of selling books, doing these speeches. I kind of want there to be a level of
mystery.
Well, not just mystery. I like the transparency of what's going on with the court, but you kind of are better than me. You're the Supreme Court, right? You have risen to the highest level in our society. You wear a black robe. Your word is final. I kind of don't want to know that you go in an RV and go fishing and hang out with your wacky friends. It's the same thing with the Pope. As a Catholic, he's the highest dude, right? Like there is no higher level of authority in the Catholic Church than the Pope. He's a world leader. You don't want to know about his wacky brother.
I mean, I thought it was cute at first when Pope Leo XIV is the youngest, and then there's two older brothers, and the one who's based out of Chicago is the middle brother.
And they're not anything in the church, right?
Well, they're Catholic, but they're not correct. I believe the middle brother is a principal at a Catholic high school.
Okay, but they're not cardinals. This is not the Kennedy family where one's a president, one's the attorney general, senator, none of that.
So the middle brother was telling, somewhat of a cute story when they were young. They would play church and have the ironing board, and
he would play Pope.
he would play priest and pass out Necco waivers as the communion.
So like when I was a kid, I would pretend that I was playing for the Chicago Cubs, and I would make up players, and I would play in the backyard by myself. Instead of him playing baseball, he was playing Pope.
He was playing church, right. But the older brother seems to be coming off just a little bit more gruff, I guess, and his stories, they're just not as soft. And he said that when his brother was speaking Spanish, he thought he was showing off. And okay, we've met the family, we know what's going on. Now they can go back to living their life in obscurity.
It's always the wacky brothers that take you down. Ask the Clintons and the Carters, right?
It's always the brother. Hammer's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, it's not a trade deal, but tariffs are coming down with China, and it isn't solving the problem with pharmaceuticals, but prices are coming down there too. That's after the news and noon on 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
You suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness? Pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds May 9th through 17th for Dana Mecum's 38th Original Spring Classic. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. And with more than 3,000 vehicles up for auction, it's a chance to bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Tired of digging through noise to find real news? Go straight to WIBC.com. Local stories, statewide impact, national headlines, info that matters. When news breaks, WIBC.com is already on it. Stay on the know while you're on the go.
Everyone considered him
there you go.
the coward of the county.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
This is the real Kenny Rogers, not to be confused with not Kenny Rogers, who was Jeff Boggs.
That's right. Who took a photo with his mom over Mother's Day. And boy, from the time he was born until today, no doubt who that guy's mother is. Like, boom, you see people and you're just like, even in a still photo, that is the same.
No doubt.
Yeah, person, basically.
He will be filling in for Nige beginning tomorrow, I think, through Friday.
Nigel's gone again.
Shocking. I know, right? You know, it's okay. It's okay. Just he front loads all of his vacation time, and then, you know, I'll backload mine.
There you go.
You went to the Pacer game last night?
Man, it was fun. It was fun watching that clinic get put on right away. Halliburton got going early with that breakaway dunk. Obi was hitting threes, and that lifted the bench. And you and I have talked about this on our sports betting podcast, Rob, The Degenerates Next Door. T.J. McConnell at home, totally different than T.J. McConnell on the road.
He's a Broad Ripple 8 at home. He's a Broad Ripple 3 on the road. He's tinks on the road. But, man, is he great at home.
And fires up the fans, and he's fearless. So let's be honest. Do we think Cleveland bounces back and wins Game 5 at home? They've not won a home game yet in the playoffs. Depending on if their dude is healthy or not, Mitchell, I think he's going to play. He didn't play the second half last night, but being down 40, I think they were like, you know what, go ahead and get an early start and go hit Steak and Shake. But I think he's back in Game 5. Let's just say the Cavs win that. That means Pacers have to win Game 6 back here on Thursday, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't want to go back to Cleveland for a Game 7.
That's right.
So...
Yeah. By the way, Casey, I forgot to tell you this. I assume you're keeping track, but the PGA Championship starts on Thursday. You know the rules.
I was not keeping track.
The 4 major championships. What are the rules? You will get about 25% effort, so just plan accordingly, effective Thursday.
Am I getting 100% today?
Yeah, and 25% of me is better than, I mean, let's say you brought Lopez in my place. Let's just say I took the days off. Would you rather have 25% of me or 100% of Lopez?
Yeah.
So what percentage of Rob Kendall do you think you've gotten today, Casey?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Am I getting 100% today?
I don't think. Let me answer that no. Let me just jump in and answer that no. Because driving in, my favorite part of the show so far was there was like a 10-minute back and forth where Rob didn't understand how a podcast works. I'm like, answer the question. You know what a podcast is.
Yeah. And what? And you were screaming at the radio. You were highly engaged.
No, I turned it to our sister station, The Fan.
No, you didn't. You heard enough to know the segment. Don't lie to our audience.
I heard enough to know I'd heard enough.
Yeah, well, we're number 1, so...
Well, so am I, kid.
Well, so kiss my ass.
Well, kiss my ass. I've done it longer than you have.
Oh, well, you're older than me. So what? Big whoop.
Okay. Yeah, and I've had more success.
Boy, this is some great radio right here, by the way. Thank you. Why don't you tell me how to do radio? Why don't you tell me exactly how to do radio? No, go ahead. Take the rest of the segment. You tell us how to do it.
Oh, you're actually going to let somebody else talk? Maybe one day I'll get lucky and have the YouTube camera turned in my direction as well. Wow, dreams do come true, Casey.
You wouldn't fit on it. All of you wouldn't fit on it.
Oh, yeah. At least I can get my real hair on it, Rob. Unlike that little rug you got up there on top of your head.
What have you seen the back of your head? At least I admitted I had a problem and called We Grow Hair Indy.
Okay, and tell them Rob Kendall sent you.
That's right. What's coming up this afternoon?
Guy Relford is going to be in for Monday Gun Day, and Nigel's last day before vacation day number 3,454.
Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93
What's a
WIBC.
podcast? I don't know.
Trouble if you can. Now it won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man.
Spring showers might bring flowers, but they can also bring roof leaks. Strong winds, heavy rain can expose hidden damage, leading to costly water issues inside your home. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Water can seep into your attic, walls, and insulation, causing mold, rot, and expensive structural damage. The good news? Moss Roofing. They offer free inspections. Whether it's a small leak or a big roofing concern, their expert team will assess the damage and provide reliable, cost-effective solutions. With over 35 years of experience, Moss Roofing knows how to protect your home from the unpredictable spring weather. Don't wait for a minor drip to turn into a major repair. For top-notch roofing services, trust Moss Roofing to keep you dry this spring. For a job done right every single time, visit mossroofing.com. Call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or go online to Moss Roofing. MOSS. mossroofing.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
This is the epic story that takes a whole month to tell. This is May. The legendary intense action of the month of May continues as PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the thrilling drama of the fight for the pole position. The most epic month continues with Indy's most epic party, Labor Light Carb Day. And all roads lead to the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. This is epic. This is legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me. I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, the defense for a death row inmate trying to spare his life. Multiple people injured in an Indy shooting to end Mother's Day weekend. What Senator Young says about Hoosiers being involved in shipbuilding. And some sound from the Pacers' thrilling Game 4 victory Sunday night. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
A new Trump executive order. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Today, Americans spend 70% more for prescription drugs than we spent in the year 2000. Think of that.
President Trump says some of the drugs are 10 times pricier in the U.S.
Why? What did we do? suckers. But we never had a president that had the courage to do this.
The executive order he just signed a few minutes ago aims to have Americans pay the same prices as the developed country where drugs are cheapest, and not just through Medicare and Medicaid.
Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries.
Now, the president also touted a trade deal with China that for 90 days slashes the high tariffs that had halted most imports and exports between the two countries. And this is leading to a stock market surge this morning. The Dow up 986 points. President Trump says he's also optimistic about direct talks Thursday in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine, trying to end that war.
I was thinking about actually flying over there. There's a possibility of it, I guess, if I think things can happen. But we got to get it done. We got to save 5,000 lives a week.
The president will be in the Middle East, leaving soon for Saudi Arabia, which is the first stop. He'll also go to Qatar, which is offering a gift to the Trump administration, a luxury Boeing 747 jet the president could use as Air Force One.
I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person, say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane.
The president says it's a nice gesture because we keep Qatar safe. Adding that plane would go to the Trump library after he leaves office. Later this hour, Hamas is going to set free Adon Alexander, the last living American still held captive as Hamas wants a ceasefire.
Adon was born in Tel Aviv but raised in New Jersey. The 21-year-old lone soldier was serving in an elite infantry unit in the Israeli military on the border with Gaza.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Claiming to have severe brain damage. It's cloudy and 68 degrees in downtown Indy, 77 the high today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The defense for convicted cop killer Benjamin Ritchie says they want a new fair sentence and Ritchie's life not taken later this month due to what they call severe brain damage.
It was a tragedy. It was just a horrible, horrible night. And I'm very sorry for them.
That's the representative for Ritchie speaking there with Wish TV. He claims Ritchie has brain damage caused by fetal alcohol syndrome, which led to his criminal behavior. Ritchie's petition to the U.S. Supreme Court seeks to stay his execution. A shooting in the overnight hours leaves 3 people injured. IMPD says it happened on the city's east side, and all 3 victims took themselves to the hospital. Officer Tommy Thompson.
This is Mother's Day weekend. This is when they're here trying to enjoy family time. And something like this, having a firearm brought into a situation with hundreds of people and used recklessly, is not excusable. That action has to stop.
No arrests have been made in either of those shootings. Indiana Senator Todd Young says the state may play a part in rebuilding the shipping fleet with U.S.-owned vessels.
One could imagine someone being trained either for the merchant marine or skilled trades so that they can help us revitalize our naval power.
Young is the co-sponsor of the Ships for America Act. It aims to have more vessels owned by the U.S. shipping goods all around the world. Game 3 was forgettable, but Game 4 was not.
Halliburton for 3. He made the foul shot and then hit a 3 from way up top. It's 72-37. Do not adjust your dial.
That was at one point the score in the second quarter. Mark Boyle there on the Elevance Health Radio Network. The Pacers would lead by 41 at the half, eventually beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 129-109. They now hold a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals and could take the series when the two meet again on Tuesday in Cleveland. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
This hour on WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Are they good? They taste pretty good?
Yeah, so our pal Joe, longtime listener from Texas.
Yeah, Indiana Joe, he calls
Indiana
himself.
Joe, who lives in Texas. We've heard him many times on this program. He is in town. His son goes to school here, and he showed up. We'd had the joke where he had called and said he wanted to take us to lunch. And I said, I'm not going to lunch.
Right.
I'm not going to lunch. But I will allow you to come to where I'm at.
Right.
And I will sit and talk to you.
Well, he said he wanted to see how the sausage was made.
Yeah.
I think he left less impressed.
Yes, that was pretty gracious of me, though, because I was like, I'm not going to lunch. I got too many things going on. But I said, you can come in and it'd be cool to meet and visit. And he brought you, because he's a Texas guy, he brought you the, what are they called, the Bucky Beavers? Or
the beaver nuggets from Bucky's.
Yes. And we've been spreading them around. Kev has got some. Steven got some. Have you tried them yet?
I haven't tried them yet.
Try it.
It tastes like what? Caramel popcorn?
Yeah, it's sort of like a waffle.
Is that it? So they're sweet?
Show them to the camera so everybody will see on the YouTube.
Well, if I try one now, I'm not going to be able to talk.
Well, I'll talk for the
I'll have my mouth
20
full
seconds
of food.
it'll take you to chew it. You ready? Go. I'll filibuster. It's Kendall Casey show. Oh, that chewing is really annoying.
What do you want me to do?
It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. So lots of things going on with Trump right now. He had that big press conference where he's talking about the plane from Qatar. Then he's talking about the stuff with the Medicaid. And the other big thing that was announced is it appears there's some sort of at least beginning of the freezing of the relations with China as they're trying to near some sort of deal on trade.
The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he announced that the U.S. is going to lower tariffs on Chinese goods to 30%, and this is for 90 days as negotiations with China begin.
Well, and then we were talking about this when Trump was doing the press conference. Apparently, he referred to Ozempic as the fat shot drug.
Is that what he called it?
Very Trump-like. By the way, he also apparently praised Eli Lilly for making drugs in America. I don't think he mentioned the hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars Indiana taxpayers are on the hook to help them continue to make the drugs here in America. So, Mr. President, perhaps the next time you'd like to thank one of the largest drug manufacturers, largest companies, period, in the world for their graciousness of doing something here, why don't you thank the taxpayers of this state who are subsidizing them doing that? Kay, thanks.
Yeah, Lilly just announced that was Friday or over the weekend that they're going to do a new $250 million investment deal with Purdue. Did you see that?
I didn't. How much are we going to be on the hook for that one?
Well, I don't know if we're going to be on the hook for any of it because they're going to invest $250 million through the Lilly Purdue 360 initiative.
Oh, that's nice on them.
This is going to last over 8 years. But here's...
But wait. But aren't we kind of on the hook for it? Because there is now an estimate. I saw this over the weekend that all things...
Oh, wait, we are on the hook.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know why? Lilly researchers are going to use space made available to them in West Lafayette and also at the LEAP Research and Innovation District.
Look, there's a lot of very nice, kind, well-meaning people who work for Lilly, and they're wonderful people, and I know several of them. But Lilly is a monster, okay? It's a monster, and it exists for one purpose, and that is to make money. And they can tell you whatever they want to tell you about drugs and saving lives. They don't... Oh, boy, howdy, I almost said it. They don't give a crap about that. They exist to make money. Their goal is to raise the stock price. They are a for-profit company. They do a thing that does have some benefit in society in terms of being a drug manufacturer, but don't kid yourself about what they're doing. They are there. If they weren't making money, they wouldn't be doing it. If they were making money, that is the thing that nobody will say out loud that I'll go ahead and say. If Eli Lilly wasn't not only turning a profit, but just unbelievable amounts of money, they wouldn't be doing it.
Can we talk about this just really quick, this tariff thing with China?
Yeah, but I want to come back to this real quick while we're on Lilly. Yeah. There was an estimate over the weekend because nobody knows how much money Eli Lilly received from the state of Indiana because it's shrouded in mystery through the IEDC. There was one estimate that said it was over $1 billion in taxpayer incentives, $1.7 billion in terms of real cash, the real estate transaction, the tax incentives that Eli Lilly is receiving from the state of Indiana taxpayers. That is just unbelievable. I mean, it's totally believable, but it is just ridiculous if that estimate is even remotely accurate. Anyway, go ahead.
Right, because they don't need our money. They've got plenty of it. I was just this flip-flopping on the tariffs with China. At one point, they said that they weren't negotiable. They were going to be permanent. Then they're not going to be permanent. They kind of weren't concrete on whether smartphones and tech were going to be exempt from the tariffs. And they didn't have an exact date. But now, I mean, it went from 30 to 80 to 145%. And now we're back down to 30% tariffs. And this is only for 90 days now.
Would you do business with Donald Trump the way he runs the country?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
You would enter into a business agreement with Donald Trump knowing
you got to enter into it knowing that you're going to lose.
Well, so that you would enter in a business agreement, you're going to
not against him, but I would partner with him.
No. I'm saying if you were another company or whatever, the way Donald Trump runs his foreign policy, the way he's running these tariffs, would you? Because business is built on trust, and with Trump, there is no trust and there is no stability. He just makes it up. I mean, you can think the results are good or bad or whatever. The reality is you have a president who clearly is making it up day by day as he goes along.
You've got to know it's going to change, right?
He's just winging it.
Depending on his mood.
And the problem with this is, and you're seeing this play out right now with this reconciliation package budget, where there is no core principle, there is no core belief system. And by the way, it's amazing to me, other than the nerd sheets, the Hill and places like that, this budget thing is getting almost no national attention, and it's a major, major issue. And what they're doing in it is going to have major ramifications for this country. But what you're realizing, if you follow this reconciliation budget, there is no line in the sand for Trump in terms of core conviction or what he's trying to accomplish. He just wants a thing, and he wants as much of the thing as he can get, and he doesn't really care how the thing actually occurs. So that's one of the things that came out was he comes out and goes, I think we should raise taxes on the rich to fund the priorities. Hey, Mr. President, yeah, that's really pissing off the House and Senate because they've run on not raising taxes, and you kind of did too. Okay, well, then if you don't do it, then that's fine. I think you should, but don't do it. That's also okay. What sort of leadership is that? I mean, and that is basically like the direct quote from Donald Trump. Maybe not verbatim word for word, but pretty similar on how he handled all of this. And these budget writers are looking at this because they're trying to, I mean, it's going to result in massive additions to the nation's debt. And the way they're setting up, like the quote-unquote cuts from Medicaid, they're putting a number on it. That number is not actually going to happen. They'll back out of it. And what you're realizing is because Trump has no core conviction, and his leadership is whatever he wakes up and thinks, his leadership style is whatever he wakes up and thinks that day, it's making it very hard for these guys to pin something down because you don't know what he actually wants because he really doesn't either.
Yeah. And you've got the defense budget increasing by 13%?
Right. This is my point. Okay, so we can't touch this thing. So think about if you're in your business, okay? So you've got to put if you're a business manager or whatever, and you've got to put a proposal on how to fund your organization in front of the shareholders, the board of directors, whatever. And the guy who's the tippy top guy ahead of you has set the parameters of we've got to do A, B, and C. But in order to pay for A, B, and C, you can't pull any money from the D, E, and F, which are the D, E, and F are the primary funders of your company, which is how you would pay for A, B, and C. Well, what do I do? We'll figure it out. Well, but D, E, and F are the only places there's really money and waste, fraud, and abuse, and areas where we can actually find the savings to do A, B, and C, which you want, Mr. CEO of this company. Yeah, that's not my problem. But it is your problem. You're the CEO. Yeah, but you can't do that. So what's going to happen, and it has become abundantly clear, is they're going to make up a number in this budget reconciliation in which the savings isn't going to be anywhere close to what they're actually telling you it's going to be. Even what they're admitting will still add close to $5 trillion to our nation's debt, and it'll be a legalized vote buying scheme where a bunch of people who live in swing states who they believe they need the votes are going to get the biggest benefit. Period, full stop. Yep. That's going to be the Trump budget, and he's going to come out here and tell you how great it is, and all it's going to result in is some mild savings for some people, and megacorps are going to do great, and you're going to continue to pay more for everything through inflation. I've read enough of this. I know exactly where it's going. I've followed it from the beginning. They came out with the Medicaid thing yesterday or I believe it was this morning, in fact, on the proposal on Medicaid. It does nothing to actually reform the system. It does nothing to stop the able-bodied people. It does nothing to curb the federal spending. And you're just going to keep paying out the ass for stuff.
Well, and how will this new executive order on the drug prices change? And when does that go into effect? Because that will have a direct effect on Medicaid and Medicare, those drug prices.
Why do we even have a Congress at this point? This is my question. All of these things are being done through executive orders. Why does the Congress even exist? Why don't we just have a king? If they want it, they should do it. And it's true under Biden, and it was true under Trump, and it was true under Bush, and it was true under Obama. These presidents just go into business for themselves. They do what they want to do. And why do we even have a Congress at this point?
Well, and now you've got your governor doing the same thing with executive orders. And what happens if you defy an executive order?
Well, I think a judge decides. Are you asking? I think a judge decides whether the executive order is constitutional or not.
I mean, there's legal ramifications.
Well, are you saying a judge has said that the order is constitutional and can be issued? Like, what are you asking me? English. Ask in English.
What happens if, okay, for example, Donald Trump said that all truck drivers have to speak English. What if you don't?
Well, I would guess that based on the terms of that executive order, if a court has ruled it constitutional, that company could be shut down by federal transportation authorities.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
Yeah. I was just curious. Okay, so there's this comedian who was on a podcast with Julian Michaels, and he said that governors who imposed pandemic lockdowns should face trial, and we're going to get to that coming up.
I like this.
It's 93.
I like this.
It's 93 WIBC.
This May, you've got a chance to see what an IndyCar driver's dream garage really looks like. WIBC's Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana, takes you inside Graham Ray Hall Performance, a high-octane hangout where racing meets luxury. Hammer and Nigel sit down with Graham for great stories, laughs, and insights from someone who grew up on the hallowed grounds of the IMS. But this backstage pass to speed, style, and surprises is sold out. The only place to register to win tickets is WIBC.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Wind and hail can cause serious damage to your property, but not every storm leaves the same mark. At Michaelis Corporation, they offer a free thorough inspection of your entire property, not just your roof. With over 35 years disaster restoration, they check everything from shingles to siding, gutters, windows, and even your interior. Call Michaelis today for your free comprehensive inspection. Don't forget to ask about our impact-resistant shingles for your roof. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-INDY.
Hey, it's Matt Baer for Concord Exteriors. Don't wait to beautify your home for summer for a fresh new look and increased home value. New siding by Concord Exteriors is the answer. From James Hardy fiber cement siding to a big array of vinyl siding colors and styles, the experienced pros at Concord have all the choices, plus a lifetime workmanship warranty and over 10,000 satisfied customers. For your free estimate, call Concord Exteriors at 317-ROOFING or visit ConcordExteriors.com. Tell them I sent you.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg.
Dave Smith is a comedian, also a political commentator, and he was on the Keeping It Real podcast, which could potentially win a Golden Globe Award now, you never know, with Julian Michaels. And he was very critical of governors, specifically governors who imposed lockdowns during the pandemic. He said that they should face trial at the International Criminal Court.
Are just, should be in The Hague. Like, I don't care. I don't care if there's you don't get to appoint yourself mini dictators out of nowhere based off no authority, not even citing any authority. I declared an emergency. So what, like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights don't exist anymore because you declared?
Yeah.
There was the greatest interview through all of the COVID days was Tucker Carlson in maybe it was in June of 2020, I want to say May or June. I would say he got my awful governor, Murphy, who was one of the lockdown governors, and he got him on his show when he was still on Fox News. And he asked him at one point, so he had just shut down a service at a synagogue, and he arrested, there were some Jews who got arrested for going to synagogue during lockdown. And so Tucker Carlson's just well, I'm reading the First Amendment here, and it says that all Americans have the right to worship whatever religion and peacefully assemble. So where do you get the authority to tell someone they can't do that? And Governor Murphy just goes, well, I wasn't thinking about the Constitution on this one. That's above my pay grade. He goes, his words were, that's above my pay grade. He goes, I'm following the science. And then, of course, the science turned out to be completely wrong, and it wasn't science at all. But so anyway, to me, that's just oh, yeah, you're a dictator. I don't know. You just appointed yourself a totalitarian dictator. You're the worst criminal that there is.
So he's saying pretty much these governors, they did not have proper authority to do what they did.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue with any of that. When you let's just use our state for an example. Okay, so the governor with no medical training whatsoever declares a pandemic, and he's going to shut down society. Now, we know that the person he put in charge of that, Dr. Box, not an expert in disease. She's a gynecologist.
Infectious disease, right?
Yeah, Dr. Box, gynecologist. Perfect. She had no training in this whatsoever. She had no expertise in this whatsoever. And then some sort of bad B-rate movie, these two wacky characters proceeded to destroy our society. They put over 1 million people out of work. They cost tens of thousands of businesses. They shut them down. Many of them never reopened. Those that did, many didn't make it. And they showed how unserious they actually were when both of them were caught being complete hypocrites to the orders that they had thrown out to people. In the case of Holcomb, he gives this big shutdown, power pantsy order, then goes and is photographed taking selfies with strangers, right? Dr. Box, gynecologist, after, by the way, because the wedding had already taken place, she went to her son's wedding without a mask and his finger wagging at people, and then the photo, we released the photo because we got it from somebody who was at the wedding who was appalled at that woman, at the hypocrisy of that woman, and her excuse is, why I knew everyone at the wedding. And people were like, oh, you knew whether they had COVID or not? Get out of here. It was all a joke. These people are jokes. Eric Holcomb is a joke. He's a fraudster and a joke. And the fact that we allowed this to happen, and this is where you see this play out with the legislature. You cannot remove the legislature from this because they did nothing to stop him. They did nothing to stop him. And they're doing the same behavior now with tolling, for example, where they don't want the smoke of the vote. So they pass it off to the governor and go, we'll give you the power pants. You take it from us. These legislators, every single legislator, save for John Jacob and Kurt Nicely, should be ashamed of themselves about how they behaved during COVID because none of them led, none of them tried to stop Holcomb. So the question to the governor is, and by the way, let's not forget, while Holcomb was shutting all these businesses down, while he was destroying, he's putting these people out of work, what was he doing on the side? Oh, he's creating the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
Right.
This shadow, shady, quasi-government entity that now is so poorly run that it has to have a forensic audit. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of what's going on. Maybe we won't. Oh, and then on top of that, Eric Holcomb's best friend is Jamie Knoll, who's now serving multiple years in the pokey for defrauding nonprofits and the taxpayers. So, yeah, kind of a sketch guy.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how that all worked out? We're out of COVID. Who got rich? Across the board, the governments. Who got rich? The mega corporations. Eli Lilly's market cap has gone up $600 billion in the past 5 years. Eli Lilly's stock price has gone up 400+%. Who else got rich? The federal government printed all that money. Where'd it go? Went to the states. What'd the state do? They spent it. They had billions of dollars shoveled at them by the federal government, and because Holcomb and the Republicans were so poor with managing the money that now they had to raise taxes to balance a post-COVID budget.
Correct. They got so much before. They were living large, right?
Who else got rich? The local governments. Look at all of these projects that these local governments are doing, like where I live, buying
pools.
Yeah, the pools, the rec centers, the stadiums for G League teams, for the Pacers, $4 million empty patches of grass, like where I live. Who got screwed? You, because what happened? Because they printed all of that money and they reduced the interest rates to damn near zero. All of these megacorps came in, bought all of these houses, paid exorbitant prices for these houses. It drove the price of everybody's house up, which created what? Higher property taxes.
Right.
Which means the governments forever are richer because of COVID.
Because of what they did. Because you had these power-hungry governors deciding that your job, your church, your mental health, your kids' education were all non-essentials. But meanwhile, let's remember, the liquor stores and the Amazon deliveries, they thrived.
Come back to the liquor stores for a second. So liquor stores got special privileges during COVID and were allowed to remain open. I'm sure that's just a coincidence that the guy who ran the Republican Party, Kyle Hupfer, in the state of Indiana, and was the architect of Holcomb's campaign victory, and Holcomb's very, very close buddy, probably number 2 on Holcomb's friends list next to Jamie Knoll, was a part owner in 30-plus liquor stores. Probably just a big old honking coincidence.
So back to your point, this guy who has zero medical training making all of these lockdown decisions, huge overreach of your government, and they were all saying it was science. No, it was not science. It was control.
And there's nothing that Eric Holcomb or the governor of New York, governors, plural, of New York, or the governor of Illinois, or any of these other people can point to and say, I saved that person's life. There's not a damn thing they did during, or I can point to you people who aren't with us because of what you did. The drug addiction, alcohol, all of that stuff, that people who are no longer with us because of how you locked people in their homes, how you cut people out of society. There's a whole generation. We talked about this with Kevin. Kevin's generation is they do not socialize.
No.
They do not. Your daughter is in that generation. They do not interact with people because the prime social years for those people, 18, 19, 20, 21, all of those people were locked in homes.
Yeah.
They were locked away from society. They were told it's okay not to be around people or not learn to socialize or make human connections. And now you have a whole generation of people who are simply okay with just being alone because that's what they were told is acceptable.
Yep. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Taxes 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trying to spare his life. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Defense attorneys for convicted cop killer Benjamin Ritchie say he's seeking clemency because of fetal alcohol syndrome that caused him to have severe brain damage. Ritchie is on death row for shooting and killing Beech Grove cop William Toney in 2000. 2 men were shot on the northwest side of Indianapolis Sunday evening. Another shooting happened on the city's east side early this morning that left 3 people injured, everyone taken to a hospital and is reportedly in stable condition. Former Indiana University athletics Dr. Brad Bomba Sr. has died. He was 89. Bomba was accused of improper prostate and rectal exams during yearly physicals. Attorneys representing former IU basketball players are suing the university over sexual assault claims against the former team doctor. And expect some scattered rain to move across Indiana throughout the week. Severe storms also possible on Thursday, but so is warm weather. Some days will have highs in the mid-80s. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. And right now, oh wow, what a deal going on with their home improvement season sale. Listen to this. First of all, you're going to get 50% off your windows. Yes, that's right, half off. Then, on top of that, no interest and no payments for 12 months. And last, but certainly not least, a free entry door with your window purchase. That's right, right now. Universal Windows Direct's home improvement season sale. Let's review. 50% half off your windows. No interest, no payments for 12 months, and a free entry door with your window purchase. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the details, and most importantly, schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate. Call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. And check them out on the web. See everything for yourself. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Start her engine by racing into Pierce Jewelers in Carmel for that perfect diamond engagement ring that will put you in the winner's circle. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You probably saw the clip over the weekend of that Fox News guest and political commentator who passed out.
She went over sideways.
Yeah.
Blood.
Faded live on the air. It was actually on May 8th. It was on an appearance of Fox News at night. And she later told the New York Post that the...
What's her name?
Her name is Cameron Kinsey.
Is that her real name or is it a
I
stage
don't know.
name?
It's the name she's going by.
Okay.
Yeah. She later said that the incident was likely due to severe dehydration and that she plans to return to Fox News.
Okay, so
she'll be back.
So it was kind of a scary thing. Thankfully, it appears she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You ever like zonked out on the air before? Or?
Almost. Do you remember that day I walked in here?
Yeah.
And you were like, "Ooh, you don't look good. You should go home."
Yeah. Were you, yeah,
And
you
I
were,
did.
You were getting, and I could see it. I was like, she's going down. She's yelling timber.
I think I showed up with a baseball cap that day. Like, I had barely any makeup on or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you never had to, like, in the middle of a
Looked
segment.
a little green.
You never had to, like, stop what you were doing and go to the can or anything like that?
No, Rob. What about you?
No, I've never.
You're the picture of health.
No, I'm not a picture of health. I'd ruin myself before I'd ruin this. I'd ruin
What would you do if we were talking and I just passed out? Would you continue on with the show, or would you be like, "Sorry, listeners, I got to check on my co-host"? Would you tell Kevin to cue up a song, go to commercials?
Do you want me to how honest do you want me to be?
I want you to be 100% honest.
Well, our first obligation is to the audience.
You would keep going.
Well, it depends. Okay, no. It depends. Where are we at in the hour? Like, give me a time.
You've got a lot of things to determine how much care you're going to give me.
I would do it really quick. Let's see.
What if it's at the top of the hour? Boom.
Okay, so you're down. Boy, that's a toughie because that's where we're supposed to sort of reset the news of the day.
That's supposed to be like the big stories of the moment.
If it were the 10:20 segment, I could easily just go to the break and like make it up later. Same thing with the 10:30. I could hit it in the 10:45. That's not as big a deal. But if you're saying the last segment of the hour would be tough because we got to hit the news.
Right, you got back time.
Right, and our bonus. Look. I mean, the bonus is very important to me, and I feel like if we just went for 5 minutes of just commercials, it'd be bad.
Yeah.
But thankfully, that's why I was so concerned that day where you were singing. I was like, I'm going to have to make a choice if this woman continues
She's
to work.
She's going down. I might be risking my bonus.
Because once you chose to leave, you were out of my orbit. Then I wasn't responsible.
You weren't responsible anymore.
Yeah.
You're right.
But then I would have some level of responsibility to resuscitate you. It's some shape, form, or fashion.
Okay, well, if I were to pass out on the air, I'll make sure that it's not right at the top of the hour. Okay,
Thank you.
This is what.
Real quick, somebody did ask Nicholas in the YouTube chat. Didn't Mock have a medical issue? Yes, but it was not with me. It was when she was with Amy Jo.
She was on the air when it happened?
It was on the internet, on the podcast that they do. So, yeah, no, that was not my...
It did not affect your bonus at all.
That was not my cross to bear.
Okay.
I could just feel really bad and say, someone should call a doctor.
Somebody should do something. Somebody, somewhere. Well, this is what it sounded like when Cameron Kinsey of Fox News, or on Fox News, passed out.
Ideology, or it's not about.
Oh my goodness! We're just going to get some help here for Cameron. Let me come back to Lydia while we get some help for Cameron here. Lydia, the President. We're going to go to a break right here. We'll be right back.
He did. He was trolling. He was trying to recover with the story. He was going to go to the other guest, and then you can hear somebody in his earpiece say, "No, just go to break."
And you know what's? I mean, and she's fine. So, and it was just dehydration. It's not like she has some serious medical issue. So we can kind of chuckle at this now. But like, I'm on here having fun about it. He did the thing.
He actually did the thing, and he was getting roasted online. Like, oh hey, how about a little, compassion there for your
she's laying right next to
co-host, your guest there who just passed out.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, whoa. Anyway, let's go back to Lydia.
We need some
seriously, this is a human person.
Yeah, how could you?
Who's passing out, and you're concerned about the ratings.
How could your instinct not immediately be, hey, we got to go to break real quick, get some help over here, we'll be right back. Boom.
Right. Instead, he's trying to recover and throw it to somebody else.
I didn't even realize the guy did that. I just see her take the tumble.
He did what you said you would do. Depends on what time it is.
Except he actually did it.
Yeah. So in an ex post later on, she said that she was doing well. She thanked the EMTs, and also she thanked the Fox News team for their quick response, except she wasn't specific about the guy who was interviewing her. I want to thank everybody else. That's what I would do. Thank you, everyone at WIBC, but Rob Kendall.
Was it like one of those movies where they splashed her with water, where and the person emerges from a slumber or what?
Some smelling salts. Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't keep rolling on her after they went to commercials. The host, his name is Jonathan Hunt. And they're saying that he quickly cut to commercial.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He didn't break a leg trying to help her.
So you never had to go to the can or anything while you were on the air? Nothing, huh?
No, nothing we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So you know what's happening tomorrow, or actually it's happening today, is the opening statements in the Sean Combs trial.
So they picked a jury.
He tried to claim that prosecutors acted with racial bias in bringing the racketeering and sex trafficking charges against him.
This is because he's black?
The judge rejected his claim and said, no, that's not happening.
His excuse is they did this because I'm black?
Yep. The judge ruled that Combs' race was not a factor.
Not the countless witnesses or the bottles of lube or the massive amounts of, what do they call that? The evidence, circumstantial evidence, and none of that's why they brought the charges. They brought it because you're black.
Yep,
that's your defense.
That was his defense.
Well, this is going to go swimmingly for him.
So he pled not guilty. He's being held without bail. Trial's expected to last about 2 months, and if he is found guilty, he could face up to a minimum of 15 years in prison. He could get a life sentence.
Hey, ignore these multiple women who are crying their eyes out on the stand talking about how this guy basically put him in a torture room. It's because he's black.
That's what he wanted you to believe.
Good
You're
grief.
listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it, 3:06. The biggest stories in Indy. We'll recap the weekend. Guy Relford joins us, 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal.
Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Watching your parents get older is something you never get used to. You know it's going to happen, but it still doesn't seem right, especially when the time comes to consider moving a parent into a nursing home. It's a hard decision for you and them, and when that's the right choice, there's the added stress of what to do with the house. Simple Quarters understands and can help relieve some of that stress. They're a Christian company who is compassionate about what you and your parent are going through. They can help with the logistics of selling the home. They'll buy it as is, no need for repairs, cleaning, staging, or showings. No catch. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Simple Quarters, a Christian company dedicated to helping families through life's transitions. If you're facing the challenge of selling a home due to a loved one moving into an assisted living or nursing home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME, or go to simplequarters.com.
Create a glowing backyard retreat with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get a free outdoor lighting package with the purchase of our best stamped concrete patio. Hurry, offer ends June 30th. Go to indydecorativeconcrete.com.
Addiction doesn't just affect one person, it touches everyone around them. That's why Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick created the Supporting Sobriety podcast. It's for the friends and family standing behind, offering hope, guidance, and real talk. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
What once seemed black and white turns to so many shades of gray. We lose ourselves in work today.
Rob, you've mentioned that occasionally you get stuck and you have to do your workout in the evening, which
Yeah, I
is
hate
not
that.
your preference, but it's happened, right?
I hate that. It really disrupts the whole day.
Yeah.
If I gotta, and it's like a cloud that hangs over you.
You're just, you got to get it done.
That's right. And the whole day, when I'm not getting my stuff done, I realize I got to do it after my kid goes to bed, which then takes in my time to do things I like to do.
Yeah, well, there's a new study that came out that said maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
Oh.
Yeah, it found that exercising within 4 hours of bedtime actually makes it harder for you to fall asleep. And then it also reduces how long you will sleep by about 43 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. If you exercise 4 hours before you go to bed?
Yep, it makes it harder for you to fall asleep, and then you'll sleep 43 minutes less.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not that I want to do it then. When I do it then, it's because I've had other things to do. I'm not really opting into doing it then. I'm doing it because I don't have time to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're better off doing it at some point rather than not at all.
Am I? Or can I just use the excuse now? Casey said I'm worse off.
Just know that if you wait until the end of the day, it's going to make it harder for you to fall asleep.
Yeah, but I don't.
Is that a problem for you?
Well, I mean, I don't.
I feel like that's an issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I come in here looking sleepy each day?
No, but I've been, receiving texts from you that are past bedtime.
Oh.
And I feel like you're
Thanks,
kind of.
Mom.
Well, I feel like you're kind of like laying in bed and the wheels are spinning.
Well, I'm trying to help the show. I'll certainly stop doing that.
No, it's all good.
No,
I'm
consider
just thinking...
consider me out. It's it's the last thing I want to do, and I felt some sort of obligation. Done.
No, is it because you're working out late in the evening?
No. I mean, I try to. The weekends screw me up because I don't have the. I got to go around my kid's nap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the free time that I do during the week. Isn't that wild? My wife and I were talking about that this weekend. That our free time is now the week, not the weekend.
Right, because you're busy watching her.
That's right.
Yeah, you're responsible.
Somebody should have told me this parenting thing was so involved.
You didn't know that before?
I didn't
now
understand.
That she's mobile, you really got to keep an eye on her. Like, she can make her own decisions and go where she wants to go.
For any person who has ever had a child nearing 2 years old, you understand we have entered the terrorist phase of this parent-child relationship in which my kid is very active.
Yep.
She's very strong. And while about 95% of the time she's a very good kid, and you've never seen bad her because she turns it on when she's around other people.
Right.
She's maniacal.
No.
Diabolical.
That's what you want. That's what you want. You want her to behave well for other people.
And just be
get out her rottenness to you.
But she recognizes she got to do anything she don't want to do. And I'm really relatively helpless in terms of being able to actually make her do the things.
Yeah. Well, you want her to be able to feel free to be herself around you, right?
I would like to not be screamed at. That's my whole goal.
So, they're called the terrible twos. They're really the terrible threes. So
What? No
buckle
way.
up, buddy.
No, the threes are worse than the twos?
Some people say so.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she'll be much more mobile. Her small motor skills are even better. She can talk better. She has an opinion. So there's no stopping her now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for ruining everything for me.
No, it's all good. She's adorable. I think she's fantastic.
Would you like to take her with you? It's a no return policy.
Are you still going to pay for her college?
Oh, she's already been told.
I mean, I'll gladly watch her. You're still fronting the bill, though, right? Okay, so there's another thing that came out that said the Southern accent is fixing to disappear in parts of the South.
No kidding.
And there's a couple reasons for this. Two events that we can cite for this. One is the building of the Triangle. That's, North Carolina.
Yes.
Where they've got all these tech jobs,
Yes.
and people from all over the country were coming into the Triangle.
This is in the Raleigh area.
Right.
Yes, that's correct.
And they were bringing their...
Carpetbaggers.
That's it. And so the Southern accent was disappearing from that area.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can cite was Hurricane Katrina.
People left.
Yes, because so many people left the area and then new people entered to rebuild.
Yeah.
So the New Orleans accent is disappearing as well.
No, I can say this because I spent some time in the South, and they'll back me up on this because I made a lot of friends down there. Southern people are crazy.
You think so?
Well, Southern women are crazy. There was, women deal with bad news with men, if you're following where I'm going, in a variety of ways. At the
in the South, they like the rolling pin.
They like the what?
The rolling pin, the cookie.
What does that have to do? Oh, hitting the men.
Yes.
Well, I was referencing at the community in which I lived in, one woman found out there may have been some extracurricular activity going on, and she proceeded at the local Walmart to take a baseball bat and cave that gentleman's windshield in.
Oh, okay.
And when I heard that, because I was new to the area, I said, I'm just not going to date any Southern women because it doesn't seem like this is. Well, that wasn't great. That was probably not a healthy way to deal with that.
Well, you could date Southern women, just don't cheat on them.
Well, yeah, but I just thought
there's that option.
I was home 2 weeks. I was there 2 weeks. I just thought that I'm just going to avoid any sense of drama or obligation. I'm just going to hide in the back of the radio station.
Yep. So the study said that this is especially with Gen Z, people born between 97 and 2012. That they're disappearing, their Southern accents are disappearing. So you can have the parents who have a strong Southern accent, but the kids don't.
Well, this is interesting because in a weird way, we're having a somewhat similar conversation here in the state of Indiana. And it's not people's accents, but it is the lay of the land and the makeup of the communities due to the state of Indiana, largely through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, attracting companies that are requiring foreign workers, both as in foreign to the country and foreign to the state of Indiana.
Right.
And when you are incentivizing through economics people to move to your community, they are not only are they bringing their stuff with them, which is different than your stuff, there's no sense of obligation to appreciate your stuff.
To assimilate.
Right.
Right.
And then if you want to extrapolate that, it's actually the conversation we're having in the country right now with immigration, which is a lack of assimilation. And this is why when I hear things like economic development this and economic development that, I get I get very nervous because generally what that means is clearly it hasn't lowered anyone's taxes.
No.
And now it just means the communities we grew up loving are going to become more crowded.
They're changing.
Infrastructure is going to be strained. And the place that you knew, well, it could be a year, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, is not going to be the thing.
No.
Which is why you moved to the place to begin with.
It will forever be changed. Last time I went home to Dayton area where I grew up.
Yes.
The farmland, it's all little McMansions now.
That's right.
So
all gone?
It's completely different.
That's right.
And you see that happening everywhere.
What an uplifting way to end our show today.
Oh, well, we'll do better tomorrow.
Casey does the template, everyone. It's all her. I don't pick any of the stories.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call Trajan today at 317-480-4040. 317-480-4040.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Millions of illegal aliens crossed our southern border under Biden administration policies. But now, things are changing. This is your Congressman, Jefferson Shreve. I'm committed to securing our borders and to protecting our Hoosier communities. I'm delivering for you. Because of Republican leadership, illegal border crossings are at an all-time low. I'm leading the charge to complete the southern border wall and deport illegal aliens. I'm fighting for Indiana and working for you in Congress.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Indy's biggest party is back. Miller Lite Carb Day with 2 headliners. Bret Michaels. The All-American Rejects. Miller Lite Carb Day, May 23rd at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Concert pit and VIP tickets on sale now at IMS.com.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds May 9th through 17th for Dana Mecum's 38th Original Spring Classic. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. And with more than 3,000 vehicles up for auction, it's a chance to bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts at the Low T Center for a free consultation and a free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurances accept it. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment right now at the Low T Center. Offer is limited, but book right now. FixMyLowT.com. That's FixMyLowT.com.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
Chance of rain and storms each afternoon.
The United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries.
We'll move their tariffs down.
So how typical is it that a raccoon is to blame for a power outage?
This is the WIBC News at noon.
It's what he calls a rather summery week.
It's cloudy, 74 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Jarrett Lewis.
And I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. No matter where you are in Indiana, it might be best to have the umbrella with you.
Chance of rain and storms each afternoon today through at least Thursday, and then a warming trend through the week.
Cody Moore with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says temperatures will get into the 80s as the week goes on, but he's most concerned about the severe weather threat on Thursday.
Likely all hazards are on the table, but once we get a little closer and have the details worked out, then we'll be able to get more into the details about who can expect what and when.
In the meantime, he says if you hear thunder roar, go indoors.
President Donald Trump announcing an executive order today that aims to reduce the price of certain drugs and pharmaceuticals.
But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what for the same drug.
The president is setting a 30-day deadline for drug makers to negotiate lower prices. If there's no agreement, the U.S. government would tie the price it pays to lower drug prices paid by other countries. A similar effort during the president's first term was ultimately blocked by federal courts. Drug companies say it could disincentivize new research and lead to scarcity.
Trade tax will be slashed as a result of a new trade deal between the U.S. and China, Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it starts with a 90-day pause and a substantial drop in the levels of reciprocal tariffs.
Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%.
The trade war between Washington and Beijing has disrupted the global economy and upset financial markets. Speaking in Geneva, Switzerland, Secretary Bessent said talks will continue to rebalance the trade relationship between the U.S. and China. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Raccoons and other animals can sometimes cause annoyances. Johnette Cruz reports on what happened in Zionsville today.
So how typical is it that a raccoon is to blame for a power outage? Communications Director Mandy Saucerman from Boone REMC explains.
Critters, can find their way to little crevices in substations and things like that. It's not very common, but once in a while we have to deal with these issues out in the wild, so to speak.
Zionsville Community Schools were on a 2-hour delay this morning because of the mishap, but thankfully power was restored quickly. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may remember the former IU athletics doctor who was accused of improper prostate and rectal exams. Jake McDaniel reports he died last Thursday.
Dr. Brad Bomba Sr. was accused of those exams during yearly physicals. With that said, lawyers for several former IU basketball players are suing the university, pointing back to an investigation IU itself ran into sexual assault claims against Bomba. IU said his exams were clinically appropriate, but that's not stopping the former players from suing the university. Bomba's funeral service will be held Wednesday at 12 noon at a Catholic church, which is on East 3rd Street in Bloomington. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A busy time for Indy Police and a basketball game you may not soon forget. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, it's not a trade deal, but tariffs are coming down with China, and it isn't solving the problem with pharmaceuticals, but prices are coming down there too. That's after the news and noon on 93 WIBC.
Shots fired on the east side of Indianapolis this morning at the intersection of 34th and Arlington. IMPD says 3 people walked into 3 separate hospitals with gunshot wounds, but they all are expected to survive.
Gunfire was also heard on the northwest side of Indianapolis Sunday night. IMPD officer Tommy Thompson says 2 men were found shot, but they survived and were taken to a hospital.
This is Mother's Day weekend. This is when they're here trying to enjoy family time. And something like this, having a firearm brought into a situation with hundreds of people and used recklessly, is not excusable. That action has to stop.
Now they're searching for suspects and think the driver of a red SUV may be involved.
At about 11:40 Sunday morning, a truck with Fathers Matter written on the back of it slammed into the Johnson County Juvenile Detention Center. Chris Davis reports.
Not only was 39-year-old Jacob Daunt misguided, but he could have hurt somebody, says Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Burgess. He says right after the crash, deputies arrested Daunt, who says he was frustrated because he hadn't been able to see his son for more than a year. He criticized the youth court system. But Daunt was not a blameless father. He was a wanted man on meth dealing charges in Shelby County. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
At Cambridge Fieldhouse on Sunday nights.
Neesmith attacking. He got to the baseline. Turner with it. 3 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Oh, my goodness. What is happening here? A 3 from the left side. It's 75-37.
The call on the Elevance Health Radio Network with Mark Boyle as the Indiana Pacers routed the Cleveland Cavaliers 129-109. They led by as many as 44 points in the game.
We're a pretty significant underdog in every game we've played in this series, and that will continue till the end.
Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle says they need to keep their focus as they head into Game 5, which is tomorrow night in Cleveland. Indiana leads that best-of-7 series 3-1, so if they want to win the series, all they need to do is win one more time. And in Fort Wayne, each year they honor what's called Unsung Heroes at their Celebrate Downtown event. Caesar Anzaldua, the facility manager at First Wayne Street United Methodist Church, was recognized for what they call his humble servanthood. Those who know him say they enjoy Anzaldua's positive attitude and faith, which he says guided him through difficult times, making him a beloved figure in the community.
I'm Jarrett Lewis.
And I'm John Herrick. On the Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
The market loves a trade deal, even when it's not a trade deal. I mean, they do. And what we have with China is not a trade deal. The market's reacting in a great way because tariffs almost went away. Tariffs are now at 30% for Chinese goods coming into the United States, 10% for American goods going into China. But it was 145%. On China, for China, it was 125% on our goods. So everything got slashed 115%. And that is considered success? No, that's considered an opportunity. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. You can't put on the tariffs and then remove most of the tariffs and say, what a deal. Yeah, that does not work. And I would have that conversation with Secretary Bessent, who I consider absolutely the adult in the room. The Treasury Secretary is the one dealing with the situation, and how do you now go about creating deals that create opportunities? And what does a deal look like? With China, what is it that we would actually want? Because if you created a trade deal, does the rule not apply that we don't need $30, you just need $4? That cheap goods are not the goal here? Cheap goods do seem like the goal here, especially if the tariffs are being reduced before a deal is actually done. Anything that takes manufacturing out of China is good. Anything that diminishes the capability of China is good. Trump saying that China's going to open up. There's going to be a suspension of trade barriers. I've heard this story before. I want it to work. I want Trump to be successful on that. That's better for everybody. But trusting China is nutty. And I don't find myself a guy celebrating the idea of you raised tariffs, you lowered some of the tariffs, and that's success. No. What you have now is the opportunity to have a conversation. I like an opportunity to have a conversation. I'm down with an opportunity to have a conversation. That's good. But we're not there yet. And I thought this would be the biggest story of the day. No, the biggest story of the day was the executive order that then said, hey, we're going to lower drug prices. And we're going to lower drug prices based on the idea that whatever the lowest price is another nation is charging, well, then that's what we're going to pay. You can do this via executive order. I got with two economists, Dr. Matt Will and E.J. Antoni. both have some things to say about this. Let us not waste time. We come back, E.J. Antoni, the Heritage Foundation, on this executive order from Trump on drug prices. Keep it here on Tony Katz.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
If you love spring and Indy but hate the paint, do what Lynn did. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Now, you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with a captioned telephone from Relay Indiana and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hammer and Nigel Show back at it, 3:06. The biggest stories at Indy. We'll recap the weekend. Guy Relford joins us, 93 WIBC.
It was going to happen. They had tears in their eyes because they thought this is never going to happen in our lifetime. And we finally have a president who's willing to stand up for the American people. Thank you. And Dr. Oz.
I'll let Dr. Oz talk, but we're finally standing up for the American people by utilizing an executive order to change drug pricing. That's what I'm hearing.
from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in that press conference. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. E.J. Antoni joins me right now, public finance economist, and he is the fellow over at the Grover Herman Center for the Federal Budget at the Heritage Foundation. No one is going to disagree with the idea of lowering drug prices. Absolutely, positively, everyone who has ever bought a drug would love for the drug prices to be lower. My argument has been you can do this via an executive order, and you can do this by making a claim of most favored nation, as President Trump mentioned in the press conference a series of times, where no price in the United States can be higher than the lowest price in any other country. You've been taking a look at this morning, E.J. Antoni. Talk to me. What do you think of this executive order?
Tony, I mean, it's just like a classic case of good intentions and terrible means to actually try to get there. Yes, of course, we all want to pay less for drugs. We want to pay less for everything, but especially something when we're talking about pharmaceuticals that can very often be the difference between life and death for folks. So, yeah, of course we want to pay less for that. We want more people to be able to afford it. But this is not the way you go about doing it. This is the way you go about creating shortages. This is the way you go about stopping R&D. I mean, it's just flat out a terrible, terrible idea. This is not going to work. This is not going to achieve the ends that the people want. That's why I object to it. It has nothing to do with anything else. I think it's a good goal to have, but it's not going to get you there. You're not going to achieve the goal.
So let's start with a basics. Now, I don't claim that this is your area of expertise, but you, I would say, are more of an expert than I am. Why is it that drug prices in the United States are more expensive than in countries around the globe?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of which that's very, very basic is that there are some countries that will subsidize certain drugs that are used very widespread. You find this in the EU. Well, as soon as more than half the people are on a drug, everyone will start to say, hey, why don't we just subsidize this, thinking that, well, my fellow EU member is going to be subsidizing paying taxes for me. Well, yeah, but you're doing the same thing for them, so it's a wash. But whatever the case, it's not uncommon, Tony, that you find countries where the government chooses to subsidize a drug. And so you get it at a lower price because the government, aka the taxpayer, is footing some of the bill. So there's that. But the other issue is that you have a lot of countries that will set a price and say to a pharmaceutical company, you are only allowed to sell this drug here if and only if you sell it at 80% of the cost of what you're selling it in the U.S. And this, by the way, is exactly what the Biden administration did when they so-called allowed Medicare and Medicaid to negotiate drug prices to get a better deal for people. All they did was say, all right, you can only charge Medicare, Medicaid, 75, 80% of what you charge to the public marketplace. Okay, well, all the drug companies did then is say, well, now we're going to charge more to the public marketplace in order to make up for the losses in the Medicaid, Medicare sales. So this is just basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. But once you put the drug companies into a situation where they can't make both governments happy, you're going to see the